Great American Landowner. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 558, The Brother Who Has Several Girlfriends. The third sister was dressed like a beautiful city girl, with fashionable clothes, windbreaker, long scarf, long boots, sunglasses, and branded bags. With this outfit, men who were not very confident would not dare to come up and say hello. The fourth sister's outfit was not as sharp as the third sister's, and she had a hint of ladylike taste. Behind the two of them were two secretaries or assistants, who were not bad looking, plus a foreign beauty named Honey. This group of people really attracted people's attention in this position, but they seemed to have been used to it. The third sister was impatient. After pretending to be cool for a while, she felt that the high-heeled boots on her feet made her feet a little uncomfortable. She twisted her heels twice to relax her heels and said, "Fourth sister, look at the time. Is this kid's plane delayed?" The fourth sister didn't check the time either. "Why are you in a hurry? The plane is not delayed. Look at the big screen. It says that their plane has landed. I guess the people will come out soon." Then she looked at the third sister speechlessly. "Also, didn't you listen to the radio? It has been reported just now." The third sister was embarrassed for a moment. No. Zhou Jixi and Sister Yu walked slowly, looking a little hesitant and panicked. "Jess, what should I say to your sister?" "Just say what you want to say. You're not married, and I'm not married, so it's not illegal to be together," Zhou Jixi said to her, but seeing that Sister Yu didn't look happy, he continued, "Okay, you usually look like a strong woman, so don't act like a little woman now. Be a little more assertive later, and my sister won't ask you anything in a one-on-one meeting. Besides, they are not really your sisters-in-law." After Zhou Jixi persuaded Sister Yu for a while, she slowly relaxed a lot, but she recovered in a few seconds and grabbed Zhou Jixi's arm. "Let's just say we are friends later, and don't say anything else." Zhou Jixi looked at her with a smile. "What, you wiped it clean after eating, and don't want to admit it? Where is my innocence?" Sister Yu saw his rogue look, and waved her hand, and twisted his waist. Don't worry, it's just a joke, just a joke." He quickly begged for mercy. Mizi, Zhu, Lily and Yang Qingqing, who followed behind them, had their own thoughts. They used to think they were genuine. "I didn't expect that he didn't have a legitimate wife, and this woman didn't want to be a legitimate wife." Now watching them playing, I can't help but feel a little envious. Self-reliant women are really different. They can live any kind of life they want. Even if she is already in her 30s, it is easy for her to meet a handsome guy in his 20s like her boss. The fourth sister in the distance saw Zhou Jixi and others and touched the third sister with her elbow. "Zhao is here, over there." "Where?" The third sister looked and didn't see him. After a closer look, she saw Zhou Jixi, but at this time, Zhou Jixi was hugging Sister Yu's waist, and his mouth was whispering something besides Sister Yu. What's the relationship between this guy and that woman? The fourth sister also had a question on her face. "You ask me, who should I ask? His girlfriend?" "It's possible." The fourth sister nodded. "There are quite a lot of people following him. Yes, this guy is quite grand, and the girls behind him are all good looking," the third sister said in a strange tone. The fourth sister looked at her and immediately understood what she meant. Men really become bad when they have money. Hanny quickly stepped forward at this time. "Boss will not confuse private life with work." Seeing that the two sisters of the boss were looking at her, she continued, "According to the saying of the Celestial Empire, the boss will not eat grass near his nest." The two looked at each other. Sure enough, he is a rabbit. If he doesn't eat grass near his nest, then he likes to eat grass outside? The third sister thought of this instantly and blurted out. The fourth sister suddenly asked Neha quietly, "Do you know what women he is communicating with outside?" "Yeah." When Neha was on the farm before, she knew that Zhou Jixi had contact with many girls. After thinking for a while, she roughly said, "With the actresses and models from Hollywood in the United States, and it seems there are girls from South Korea. I know there is a Chinese movie star who has entered the international arena. The boss often mails things to China, and some of them are for her." Hollywood actresses. Korean girls, and Chinese female stars who have entered the international arena. The third sister said with a little itch in her teeth, "This boy is really not simple. I didn't expect that he would bring honor to our Zhou family like this. The international actress in China, the Chinese one will not be the international Zhang." The fourth sister didn't pay attention to the previous one, and she reacted immediately to the Chinese girl. Neha looked at the two people with a bit of unkindness, and nodded when the word came to this point. Okay, it's really a face. The third sister had already seen Zhao Jixi and the woman walking in a normal way, and seemed to have seen them, waving to him at this time. She said again with hatred, "Men are really not good things." But she waved to Zhao Jixi with a smile on her face. Zhao Jixi felt strange when he saw the smile of the third sister. He remembered that, when this sister smiled like this, nothing good would happen when he was a child. What's wrong with this woman? I didn't do anything. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. Soon he approached the position of the third sister and the fourth sister. Both of them looked at him. "What's wrong with you? I'm here, but you don't welcome me properly. We are familiar with each other, but why don't you see each other? Show more enthusiasm." The third sister suddenly laughed, walked over, jumped, and clamped his neck. "Welcome back." Zhao Jixi quickly bent his back a little bit to prevent the elder sister from falling on it and getting hurt. He is not as tall as before. Ahem. Ahem. Sister, you are too enthusiastic. Open your mouth. My neck hurts. You still feel uncomfortable. You haven't come to see us for such a long time, so I have to make you feel uncomfortable. The third sister said angrily, and then said to the fourth sister, "Don't you think so?" The fourth sister? Yeah, that's right. Even the fourth sister, who always regarded herself as a lady, and didn't seem to be such an unreliable sister on weekdays, actually jumped out, and looked at Zhao Jixi angrily with an expression of agreement with the third sister. She also reached out and pinched the flesh on Zhao Jixi's cheeks. "I told you to do good things, but you probably won't leave a name after doing good things." With these two nonsensical words, Zhao Jixi felt that his worldview was ruined. Fourth sister, why are you learning from the third sister? You are not like this, right? Your image in my mind is ruined. The fourth sister didn't let go yet. Your image in my mind is ruined. Humph. Chapter 559. I'm the master of my own life. What happened? Didn't he remember offending these two women recently? Zhao Jixi had no idea that Neha had betrayed him unintentionally. According to other people's ideas, it was normal to date several girls at the same time. He was not married and had a girlfriend. He was still a single young man. It was just to see if the girl was suitable for him and dated a few more times. It was not a big deal. The third sister saw that everyone around was looking at this side, so she didn't want to embarrass herself here, and hurriedly said, "Let's go to the car and talk." "Wait a minute, I haven't introduced my friend to you yet." Zhao Jixi saw that the third sister let go of him, so he hurriedly shouted, "This is..." Sister, you thought that this might be the way they get along with each other, but she didn't feel anything strange. She just met these two sisters of Zhao Jixi. "Hello, I'm Tang Hangaiu, Zhao Jixi's friend." The novice went to shake hands with the third sister. Zhao Hui. The third sister was full of sympathy for the female victim. After all, it was her brother who hurt her. She quickly pushed Zhao Jixi aside and shook hands with Yuji enthusiastically. "Hello, I'm his third sister." After the fourth sister hurriedly shook hands with the third sister and introduced herself, she quickly said to her, "Hello, I'm Jixi's fourth sister Zhao Lin." Her expression seemed to have done something wrong to her. She really thought that her brother might have been cheating on her, and this woman was still being deceived by Jixi. The two of them pushed Zhao Jixi into the car, and Neha quickly stepped forward to entertain Zhao Jixi's men. Mizi and Neha are old colleagues. The two of them worked together to arrange these people quickly. Yuji got into the fourth sister's car, and Neha drove it. When they got in the car, Yuji couldn't help asking Neha, do their families get along like this? Probably. Neha felt that she seemed to have said something wrong just now, and now she became more careful when speaking. Mizi, Zhu, Lily and Yang Qingqian went off-road with the girls from the company, and the others got into the Raptor. The two girls in the car really like the boss in person. There are photos of their relatives in the offices of both bosses. Every time they see this handsome guy, they wonder when they can meet him. Now that they really meet him, they know that he is not cheap. But he is not handsome either. He has money, good looks and good figures, which makes him very attractive to girls. The two people sitting in the front and the co-pilot couldn't help but glance at the three people in the back seat. They all looked good, and they couldn't help but wonder about their relationship with the boss. In the red BMW, the third sister was steering the wheel, but she looked at Zhao Jixi hatefully from time to time. The fourth sister sat in the back seat with him, and he also felt weird when she looked at him. The third sister said with an inexplicable meaning, "Zhou Wu, do all men become bad when they have money?" Zhao Jixi felt a little uneasy, but he didn't know what went wrong. Fortunately, we can't be absolute about anything. There are still many good men among the rich. Several of my friends are good men and model husbands. Your friend? Good man? The tone of the fourth sister's words was different from usual. Yes, a good man. Don't they say birds of a feather flock together? Your friend is also a model husband. I don't think so. The third sister's words were obviously sarcastic, and Zhao Jixi would be stupid if he didn't hear it. Oh, I think I know why I started to feel weird. Zhao Jixi understood now, leaning back in his seat and relaxing a lot. What do you want to say? Sit down and straighten your posture. The third sister pretended to be serious and said, "Tell me how many people you are cheating on. Don't be so frivolous. Sit down and answer honestly." The fourth sister also said loudly. Zhao Jixi was speechless. What do you know? How can you be sure that I'm having multiple relationships? We know a lot. Just confess it yourself. The third sister looked like she would forgive you if you confessed quickly. Otherwise the consequences would be he. I have nothing to confess. Zhao Jixi shrugged. These are all my private life. As an adult, I have the right to decide my own attitude towards life. The fourth sister reached out and slapped Zhao Jixi. You little brat, have grown up. Talking to us about private life and rights. I'm still your sister. I have the right to correct your wrong attitude towards life. Zhao Jixi touched his forehead, where he was slapped, feeling quite aggrieved. Sister, you are not usually this kind of person. Be a lady, be a lady. The third sister glanced back and said, okay, good slap. This boy deserves a slap. Tell me what happened quickly. The fourth sister asked. Also, what is your relationship with that woman, the Tang Han guy who just now? There's nothing much to say, really. Forgive me, I'm so tired. After getting off the plane, Zhao Jixi clasped his hands together and begged for mercy. My relationship with Sister Yu is quite complicated. We can solve these things between the two of us. We are all adults. Don't ask too many questions. Zhao Jixi. The fourth sister shouted loudly, and the third sister also looked at him sideways. You have a problem with your attitude. When did you become like this? The tone of regret and the remarks from the commanding position, the third sister's shot was very piercing. Zhao Jixi wanted to cry, but had no tears. What have I become? Isn't this all good? My attitude towards life is also very healthy. I'm a single man, dating other single women. What's wrong with this? It's not against the law. The fourth sister choked. The third sister started firing again. You have no problem with dating. The problem is how many girls you have dated. Are you dating this one and that one? Zhao Jixi, I tell you, our Zhao family has never had a scumbag. Don't run into the gun. Speaking of this, the reputation of the Zhao family has been brought up. Of course he will not show weakness, looking at them, muttering, isn't the second brother famous in the world? It's not my turn to ruin the reputation of our Zhao family. Zhao Jixi, do you really want to learn from Zhao Jinan? The third sister shouted loudly. The fourth sister was rude and cut again. He doesn't count, just skip it. The three of them talked nonsense in the car for a long time, and when they arrived at the destination, the two did not ask Zhao Jixi anything. However, the fact that Sister Yu had a relationship with Zhao Jixi could not be concealed, and Zhao Jixi was relieved, and he didn't have to pretend in this regard. The third and fourth sisters got out of the car with gloomy faces. After dinner, you are not allowed to stay in a hotel at night. Come home with me. The third sister, who was walking next to Zhao Jixi, whispered to him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 560. This is the life I want. Zhou saw Sister Yu getting off the car in front of him, so he walked over and hugged her waist. My sister told us to stay at her house today, and we'll stay there in a while. Even a clayman has his own anger. Zhou subconsciously felt that he was a person of high status now, and he didn't need others to point fingers at his private life. Sister Yu saw more than a dozen people looking at him, especially Zhou's sisters, and her heart beat faster. She secretly twisted Zhou, and this time she really twisted him hard. Didn't you say whether to tell us about our relationship? Why? Zhou bit his teeth and injured it, and whispered in her ear. They just saw it when we were leaving the airport. I told you to be careful, but you insisted on hugging. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Sister Yu complained, and slapped Zhou a few times. The people next to them looked at the two people's actions, and it was clearly a group of young lovers flirting. Sister Sun saw them, and coughed several times, ahem, but did not interrupt the two people's actions. The fourth sister couldn't stand it anymore and said, okay, let's go eat first. Zhonghai, a high-end hotel in the Magic City, cooks good food. Zhou thought it was okay after eating a few bites. There was absolutely no doubt that his cooking skills were better than his. He was just showing off with the good ingredients. Sister Yu would help him peel the shrimp shells from time to time, or pick up some other food. The bowl in front of him was full. Anyway, everyone knew about the relationship, so just put it out openly. In addition, it was like this on a daily basis, and she got used to it. If Sister Yu didn't help Zhou, she would always feel like something was missing. Third brother, what do you think of the two of them? Are they showing off their love? The fourth sister got goosebumps all over her body and said softly to Zhou on the right. Why do you care? Didn't he say it was his own business? I don't even bother to care. Humph. The third sister was still upset about what happened in the car. It was like her brother marrying her sister. She felt as if someone had taken her away. The third sister now felt that someone had taken her brother away. Let's take the simplest thing. In the past, this kid liked the shrimps peeled by the sisters the most. When eating, they were willing to continue peeling with a flattery. Well, now there is a woman to replace them. This feeling is really not very good. The third sister said that she felt a little dazzled when she saw the two of them like this, and she was very unhappy. She was a little impatient to begin with, and she didn't want to endure it anymore. Zhou must teach him a lesson today and correct his attitude towards life. She picked up the wine glass and said, Hangyu, can I call you that? Yes, of course, there is no problem. Tang Hangyu put down the shrimp tail that Zhou had sucked the meat off and said to the third sister Zhou in a serious tone. How long have you known each other, Jixi? We have known each other for half a year. Zhou wiped his mouth and said. The third sister glanced at him and said, okay, then when are you going to get married? When she said this, the fourth sister's heart jumped. What's wrong with the third brother? Zhou was no exception. He quickly said, sister, why are you asking this question? When we get married is our business. How embarrassing it would be for us to ask this question. It's too abrupt. I think you don't want to get married. The third sister said to Zhou, and then said to Yuji, if he doesn't want to get married at your age, you will delay him. The fourth sister hurriedly pulled the third sister. What does this mean? Is it a direct denial of this woman? Or is it a satire that she is older than Zhou? It doesn't sound like a good thing. Zhou wanted to say something, but Yuji waved her hand to stop him. He didn't look angry and looked at his two sisters seriously. It doesn't matter. I don't want to get married either. Only when we are single can we feel more free. Marriage will add a lot of constraints. We are fine like this, enjoying a free and romantic time. This speech made the two women a little confused. What's wrong? The third sister hurriedly said, you said you don't want to get married. If you don't want to get married, what are you doing together? Love? Zhou said. Sister Yu smiled slightly and said very elegantly and stylishly, life does not have to have a purpose to be called life. We are lucky people who can now enjoy happiness. Besides, a marriage certificate can't prove anything. This is good. Really? The third sister wanted to say something, but Zhao Jixi interrupted her. Sister, okay, this is our business. What the future will be like is also our future. I also think this is good. There are too many troubles when getting married. He took a sip of wine and said, I still have to worry about this and that. I don't know if I can find a pure marriage and a marriage with an agreement added. It's better not to get married. At this stage, I don't plan to get married in the future, so let's not talk about this. He waved his hand and said. The two wanted to say something, but they were a little silent after hearing Zhao Jixi's words. They knew that the younger brother probably wanted money, and they still understood their younger brother. He is the only boy in their family. His parents hold him in their hands for fear of dropping him, and hold him in their mouths for fear of melting him. His sisters also give in to him in life. This inevitably makes him a little selfish. This kid has always attached great importance to money, since he was a child. He would like to break a dime into 2 dimes to use. Of course, this does not mean that he does not value family affection. If someone in the family has a problem and asks him to take out money, they believe that Zhao Jixi will definitely take it out. But sometimes, money may really be the first in his heart. Small amounts of money don't matter, but when it comes to his vital interests, Zhao Jixi can't help but be a little selfish. They know the laws in the United States. At least half of the property will be lost after marriage and divorce. And if an agreement is signed before marriage, what is the meaning of marriage? What's the point of marriage without trust? The two of them were a little bored. Looking at Zhao Jixi and Sister Yu, they were tangled in their hearts. I don't know how tangled they are. Zhao Jixi looked at the expressions of the two and said, Sister Yu has her own company and is worth tens of millions. She was a strong woman before we met. We are together not because of money, so you don't have to worry about it. Come on, it's really because of money. The two felt that this was really the brother they knew. His words also made the two women who wanted to say something swallow their words again. Don't worry, I will live my own life, and I will have children. We are planning to have a child now, Zhao Jixi said happily, while inserting his arm around Sister Yu's shoulder. You, child? Chapter 561. Who is this person? Knowing that there would be about 10 people coming, the two had already booked a hotel next to the house they rented. They arrived after going downstairs and turning a corner. Zhao Jixi also let the bodyguard and assistant go to rest. He and Sister Yu went to the sister's house. Compared with the previous house, this new one was much larger than the previous one. The 180 square meter house has 3 bedrooms and a living room, with a modern decoration style. A modern and simple chandelier hangs on the ceiling. The light from the LED light source illuminates the room, making people feel refreshed. Zhao Jixi and Sister Yu walked in, looked around, and felt very good in their hearts. Your new house is really good. That's right, it's okay. The third sister likes words of praise, and Zhao Jixi has caught the point. However, the third sister still complained. It's a pity that it's rented. I have to wait a year or 2 to buy a house like this. Oh, so confident? It seems that the company's business is good. Zhao Jixi looked at the two in surprise. Will 1 or 2 years be enough for you to buy a house? Apart from anything else, at least the down payment will be no problem. The 30 million you invested, after a few months of hard work, plus it's the peak season, the net profit is 11.23 million. It won't be long before we have enough money to pay back your part of the money. The third sister became more and more excited. Then we can buy a house in this city. The fourth sister had the same expression. The two women were satisfied with their work ability. Zhao Jixi looked at them and secretly decided to give them a gift. It seems that I have to go and see the real estate here someday. The more than 10 million I got, the two of them will probably give it to me, so I'll give it to them to buy a house. They will definitely be very surprised at that time. The fourth sister pulled the third sister and said, ahem. After coughing twice, she finally realized that they were still angry with Zhao Jixi. Humph. Turning her face away and ignoring Zhao Jixi, she said, you sit down first. I'll make the quilt for you. Sister Yu also knew that she was not targeting herself, and she didn't care about the attitude of the third sister. She wouldn't be the sister-in-law in the future, so there was no need to do anything too much. However, Politeness and Chinese customs made her stand up and say, "I'll do it. I'll help you." "No, no, you are all guests today. Sit down," said the third sister. When several people in the room were being polite, a voice suddenly rang out. Ding ding. The doorbell rang, and then the door was pushed open. Then I remembered that it seemed that it was not locked when they came in just now. The third sister looked at Zhao Jixi specifically. He was the last one to come in. Now he quickly stood up. Maybe it was a thief. If it was true, he would definitely lift the person up and put him on the top to play windmill. If he doesn't knock him out, he won't show his power. A man pushed the door in. He looked very mature and charming. He was holding a bag of lunch boxes in his hand and wearing home clothes. When he came in and saw so many people in the room, his face was immediately embarrassed and he didn't know where to put his hands and feet. Maybe he was entangled in his heart, or he reacted and slowly became normal. "Zhao Hui, your house is not locked. I thought something happened." He gestured as he said, "Aunt Hui, Aunt Lin, you are back." A little girl walked out from behind the man. She looked like a small bean. She was cute. She had a round face with a ponytail and a baseball cap on her head. "Dad made some delicious food today and brought some for you." Zhao Jixi looked at the man and felt something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. He subconsciously felt a little hostile. Facing the third sister who seemed a little unnatural at the moment, he couldn't help but ask, "Who is he?" The third sister seemed to be startled. He, not anyone." She paused and found that what she said was a little strange. "No, he is our next door neighbor. He lives across the street." "Why does your tone sound weird?" With doubts in his mind, he carefully looked at the two people who came in. Nothing special, but his eyes glanced at the third sister's tangled hands, which were making small movements. Zhao Jixi knew the third sister's habit of movement. In addition to the movement she made when she was nervous, another habitual movement she made was the habit of wanting to lie. "You have guests at home. Well, then I'll go back first," the man said tactfully. Zhao Jixi really didn't want the other party to stay here for too long, nor did he plan to get to know this person, but because of the doubts in his mind, he walked to the third sister and suddenly put his arms around his waist. The man's expression shook, and his expression was a little strange. Zhao Jixi couldn't figure it out, whether he was sad or something. But he did see the sudden hostility of the child, a little bean-like child, probably about the same age as his daughter, staring at him with round eyes. The third sister looked a little flustered, and didn't care about Zhao Jixi, and quickly said, "Well, then you go back first. We have just eaten." "Okay." The man took the child out the door and carefully closed the door. He left, but the atmosphere in the room became strange. "Take your hands away. Why are you hugging me? You are so old." Zhao Jixi took his hand off her waist and said, "No, when I came to Zhonghai before, didn't you always ask me to walk around with your arms around you? You said you wanted to experience people's envious eyes? Who are you asking for envy in the middle of the night?" The third sister slapped his hand away. "We are still arguing. Go back and sit down. I'll make the bed for you." After saying that, she hurriedly walked in, and when she reached the door, she suddenly turned back and shouted, "Fourth brother, come and help me. It's just making a bed. What's the big deal?" Zhao Jixi had just pulled the fourth sister over to ask something, and the third sister shouted and said dissatisfiedly. The fourth sister didn't even look at Zhao Jixi at this time, and ran over quickly. "I'll help you." Sister Yu was eating fruit leisurely. Zhao Jixi walked over depressedly, took the half-eaten apple from her, and took a bite. "Something is wrong." Sister Yu rolled her eyes at him. "Eating apples can't stop your mouth. How old are they? It's normal to fall in love. What's wrong?" He shouted. "What?" Suddenly realizing that his voice was a bit loud, he quickly lowered it and said, "You said my sister is in love with that loser with a child just now, and they are dating?" Sister Yu shook her head and said, "Not so fast. I guess they have a good impression of each other." "My sister has a good impression of man with a child?" Zhao Jixi suddenly felt that his own dog sheep was running through his heart with the word absurd, and in his previous life, he didn't even know that the third sister had dated such a man. However, thinking that this life has changed the life trajectory of the third sister, even the previous home has been moved, and their social circle has probably expanded a lot. Since they started a company, it is normal for all kinds of accidents to happen. I have a good impression. KO. I have to talk to her about this matter. Zhao Jixi stood up anxiously and wanted to go in to ask the third sister. Sister Yu quickly grabbed Zhao Jixi, who was about to leave. Why are you pulling me? You just went in like this? What do you want to say? She said and pulled him hard twice, trying to pull him to the sofa. But she really couldn't pull Zhao Jixi with that strength. Hurry up and sit down. I can't pull you. Zhao Jixi gave her face and sat down first. Sister Yu whispered a lot of things in his ear, and Zhao Jixi also felt that he was a bit reckless. It is estimated that their affairs have not yet been completed. If he goes to talk about it, it may have a bad effect. To be honest, the two are still in a cold war. The atmosphere of this night is also a bit strange. Zhao Jixi makes some midnight snacks at night. He likes to eat something at night now. The two sisters are absolutely surprised by his cooking skills. As they were eating, they looked at Zhao Jixi in surprise. I didn't expect that the food you cooked tasted pretty good. It's okay, not as good as the chefs in big hotels, but about the same as the chefs in ordinary hotels. Zhao Jixi said with a smile. He had a little trouble with them when he came here, so he had to please them now, and by the way, he had to pave the way for the matter of the man just now. I think it's not worse than that of a 5-star hotel. The fourth sister rarely praised Zhao Jixi. Usually, he had a close relationship with the fourth sister, and the age difference between the two was not bad. Zhao Jixi was holding a large bowl for soup and eating noodles, and the three women were all eating a small bowl of noodles. However, there were more ingredients in it, many of which were local specialties brought back from Mongolia, with a strong natural flavor, and it tasted really good. I like what the fourth sister said. Zhao Jixi laughed happily. After a midnight snack, the three of them turned over the pages of what happened not long ago. They were originally siblings, so there were so many conflicts. As women of the new era, they understand that Zhao Jixi wants his own life, but as sisters, they can't let their brother become a scumbag. When Zhao Jixi went back to his room to sleep at night, he couldn't fall asleep in bed. Sister Yu was lying next to him in pajamas. The two of them didn't do those shameful things today. Zhao Jixi felt that doing that kind of thing at her sister's house was a bit strange. Looking at Zhao Jixi, who didn't sleep, she couldn't help asking, "What's wrong? Are you still not sleeping?" Zhao Jixi looked at her apologetically. "I disturbed you." "It's okay. I'm not very sleepy." Zhao Jixi stretched out his arms and let Sister Yu lie in his arms. "I'm a little upset. I can't fall asleep." Sister Yu stroked his chest and persuaded him, "Don't worry, they are all adults, and they think clearly about their own things. If you are worried, at most you can find someone to check the man first, although it doesn't have to be done. But knowing yourself and the enemy, you will have a way to deal with it in the future." Zhao Jixi reminded him, and immediately felt that it made sense. He got up quickly, took out his cell phone, and called Hanny. He asked her to find someone to check the man who lived opposite her sister's apartment. Hanny also knew this man, and her heart skipped a beat. Chapter 562. A lot of miscellaneous matters. "Okay, boss." Neha was paid by Zhao Jixi. No matter what, she didn't dare to tell her third and fourth sisters about this. "I'll ask Martin to help you. He will come to see you tomorrow," Zhao Jixi said at the end. "Okay, I'm sorry to bother you so late. Go to bed early." When Neha heard the name Martin, she immediately thought of the white man with a bit of a gloom. He seemed to be the boss's security consultant. "I heard that he was a mercenary before." She immediately remembered the incident of mercenaries in Iraq in the American news. Compared with the atrocities of the regular army, they were just scum. Shooting soldiers and killing citizens. The public opinion was worse than the other. Almost most of the bad things were done by mercenaries. They were greedy jackals, animals pursuing money, and a group of people who regarded killing as a job. She just wanted to say that she could handle it and didn't want to have more contact with the so-called security consultant. But Zhao Jixi hung up the phone before she could say more. It was too late for her to say anything now. Shit. She waved her phone in frustration. What a bad day. Is this the punishment from the Lord? I didn't say anything about the boss on purpose. Thinking of this, she sent a message to Miko to see if she was asleep. If not, she would also ask about what kind of person Martin was. It's not a happy thing to be with someone who kills people for a living. Who knows when they get excited and kill themselves. I don't know what the boss is thinking. He would hire such people and hire quite a few of them. Neha complained unhappily. Then she received a reply from Miko on her phone. She finally felt that something good had happened, but it was based on a bad thing. After Zhou finished the call, he felt much more relaxed. He didn't need to worry about the eldest and second sisters at home. His two brothers-in-law knew him well and were related to the Zhou family. In the previous life, they didn't have any problems in their relationship. In addition, he didn't need to think about the problems in the TV series for the time being. Divorce and the like were rare after all. Now he had to worry about the affairs of the third and fourth sisters. In the previous life, he didn't know who they were dating. Anyway, when he was reborn, he didn't see them bring their boyfriends home to show their parents. In addition, he didn't care much about this matter. He lived in his own world almost all day. He let go of a lot of worries, but he was a little bored. He wasn't sleepy for the time being, and he didn't want to do that thing. Zhou simply took out a cigarette. Sister Yu was lying next to him and couldn't sleep because of him. Give me one too. Zhou took out another one from the box and took out a customized dragon head lighter made of real gold, a little bigger than an adult's middle finger. He pressed the dragon mouth and it sprayed flames, and the orchid flames were still fragrant. He lit the two cigarettes at his mouth, took a puff, and then gave one to Sister Yu. Sister Yu took a puff and said, "Your cigarette is the best. It's not harmful to the body and it's very exciting. Women generally don't smoke. If they really like to smoke, they actually smoke stronger than men. I've left a lot for you. Why are you still feeling sentimental?" "Nothing, just feeling sentimental. Haha," Sister Yu said with a little mischief. In the morning, Zhou got up very early and hid in the space to exercise well. After coming out, he felt a little bit emotional. He put on a sports suit and changed into running shoes to go out for a jog. Maybe he could meet the man from yesterday. After quietly opening the door, he walked out, took a careful look at the family opposite, and then walked to the elevator to wait. After running around the community downstairs, he ran out. On the way, he met many people who got up to exercise. When he saw beautiful women or people who felt good, he also greeted them or responded to them. The result was that he was alone when he ran out, and when he ran back, two girls followed him and chatted with him. At the end, the girls bought him a bottle of mineral water, and Zhou gladly accepted it. He left his domestic phone number with them and didn't leave the main number with the "pray here." The park in the community has mountains and water, and it is not in vain that his sister pays more than 6,000 to 7,000 yuan a month for rent. The environment here is really good. After running around outside, I realized that the transportation here is also very good. The most important thing is that the divorce celebration company is close. In the park, he was a bit showing off and practiced kung fu routines. In fact, he had already practiced it twice in the space just now. Now he just saw that there were many old people practicing Taikai here, and some old people were practicing Bagua, so he couldn't help but practice it. Maybe, as in the novel, he could meet a master who came to kneel and beg to accept him as a disciple. Reality told him that the old ladies and grandfathers were busy showing off and busy with their own sunset love. Who has time to care about a young man boxing here? When Zhou saw an old man showing off with the old lady, he suddenly felt old. Shouldn't he say that he is still young? This is called picking up girls. Learning and picking up girls until old age is indeed not something that ordinary people can do. I bought some ingredients and mixed them in with the things in my space. When I walked to the downstairs of the Fourth Sisters building, I finally saw the man. He brought the little doubting who was carrying a school bag yesterday, and it seemed that he was going to school. The little doubting and the man also saw Zhou. The child looked at him with an unhappy face and rolled his eyes as if that could hurt him. "Dao, don't be so rude." The man scolded the child, but he just meant to pretend because he was his own child. "I'm so sorry, this kid is so rude." The man walked up to Zhou and said to him, "I'm Liu Bin. Zhao Jixi looked at him and said, "It's okay, he's still young, just ask the teacher to teach him well, and he'll be polite." He didn't even notice the hand he stretched out. "Your child isn't young anymore. Don't mess with girls if you have nothing to do, whether they have a wife or not. Having a child is a burden. Of course, if they have a wife, they're scum." He ignored the man and walked past him. The man's hand was awkwardly facing the air, and he looked back at Zhao Jixi, who had already walked in to wait for the elevator. He put his hand down and wanted to go in and say something, but shook his head and took the child to school. Zhao Jixi went home and made a hearty breakfast. Sister, you didn't want to lose weight anymore, as she was preparing for pregnancy recently. She had to eat more and drink more to reserve nutrition. Although Zhao Jixi had already prepared a lot of medicinal food for her, it was always right to eat more. The two sisters chose food without any backbone between losing weight and food, just because of Zhao Jixi's funny words. He looked at his two sisters very seriously. "Third sister and fourth sister, you can lose weight, but you have to eat your fill first, so that you have the energy to lose weight." This sentence made them laugh for a long time. A few years later, the internet jokes were humorous to them. The two women did not hesitate to eat. Zhao Jixi boasted that his cooking skills were at the level of hotel chefs, but in fact, they were only slightly better than those in small hotels. He would have to practice more before he could reach that level in a star-rated hotel. But relying on the good raw materials in the space, as long as he could control the heat, the things he made were sometimes not worse than those in a 5-star hotel. After the third and fourth sisters finished eating, they sat on a plate and touched their stomachs without any image. "I'm so full." Jixi didn't expect that what you made was better than what I made last night. "It seems that my mother has really improved a lot after letting you go wild compared to raising you at home." A speechless sweat had already spread on his forehead. "What wild and what domestic? Do you really think I'm a pig? You will definitely not have a share of the delicious food I make next time." Zhao Jixi threatened. "I'm telling the truth. The third sister is not someone who compromises easily. In her heart, she has an advantage over Zhao Jixi." The two of them had a quarrel after breakfast in the morning, and then they slowly cleaned up their appearance and planned to go to the company. Inside the wedding company, the two girls who went to receive Zhao Jixi yesterday had already arrived at the company to work in the morning. Today, there are news figures here. When they came, many gossiping men and women in the office surrounded them, and even several directors and deputy directors in the company came up to listen to the gossip. "Tell me, what did you feel when you met the big boss yesterday? Is it really the handsome guy hanging on the wall?" A flower maniac said. After seeing Zhao Jixi's photos in the space of the two bosses, many people in the company wanted to meet this handsome boss. And he is also the developer and creative designer of Angry Birds and Fruit Swordsman, which they have played for a long time. Both games are produced by his Sky Game company, and this company is really not a little bit worse than the wedding company they are in, and invested by him. Very temperament, and really handsome. One of the girls who met Zhao Jixi said. "The photos are all real, but the boss now seems to be more attractive than in the previous photos. Oh my god, I really want to meet our boss now. It would be great if he could have an affair with me." As expected, the thoughts of an infomaniac are really beyond the imagination of ordinary people. The girl yesterday felt really strange when she saw the performance of her colleague in front of her. You'd better not think about it. Although you have some characteristics in your appearance, you are still far behind the boss's secretaries. After a pause, she continued, "The boss is not a good man. To put it simply, he is a player. To put it bluntly, I won't say it here." Chapter 563, Not a Good Man? You mean, our boss is a playboy? Several girls asked in surprise. Yes, it was a surprise. Oh my god, then I also have a chance to try the taste? Do you think it's tang monk meat? It tastes good. Someone sarcastically said. Besides, can the boss like you? She said and lifted the ends of her hair to show her charm to everyone, as if she had to be like this to be liked. Yesterday, the two girls felt that they didn't know their colleagues very well. In addition to the two girls who spoke out, many other girls looked strange, as if they were thinking of something. As long as you work hard, the mistress can become the main wife. The boss doesn't seem to be married. Sisters, how does my sister treat everyone? The woman was still thinking that someone would respond to her, but these people didn't speak, so she stuffed the second half of her words into her mouth and couldn't get them out. Laughing and making noise, time passed quickly. They were mainly working on planning proposals. At this time, the business department outside was mostly busy. When the discussion was almost over, they talked about some basic planning and listened to the opinions of customers. After the third and fourth sisters took over the wedding company, the ratio of men to women was a bit unbalanced. Many girls with some good looks like to work in a company without a male boss. The scumbags in the company had been cleared out by the third and fourth sisters a long time ago. They were all people left by the previous boss. If the top beam is not straight, the bottom beam will be crooked. This kind of company does not want such people the most. Most of the men who stayed are good people, and most of them are married. And many women are newly recruited, and there are also old colleagues who stayed before. The newcomers are all smart girls, with good looks and brains, and know what they want. For a company with a female boss, it feels more comfortable. At least there is no need to think about fighting with male bosses. In addition, the wedding company is engaged in the business of marriage. No matter what happens at ordinary times, people always have to pretend to be gentlemen, and the chance of encountering perverts is also less. Neha came to the company in the morning, but now she is waiting for someone outside with Martin. Facing this man, she feels a little depressed and uneasy. Do you need another cup of coffee? Martin's expression is still cold, like a face paralysis with a fixed expression. Thank you, no need. Neha said thank you, but didn't feel the meaning at all. I don't know if it was a psychological effect or something else. A man and a woman walked into the coffee shop. After asking the waiter, they walked towards Neha and Martin. They didn't expect that the client was a foreigner. They were stunned for a moment and then recovered. Hello, you must be Miss Neha. Yes, are you sent by the firm? Well, you can call me Mr. Kwan, and she is Mrs. Kwan. Then he introduced the woman next to him. Martin stood up and said, Martin, please sit down. Can you speak English? Mr. Kwan looked at Martin with a gloomy expression. This person gave him a bad impression. Probably because he had done that kind of thing. He was not very enthusiastic about Martin. Yes. Then let's communicate in English. You can talk to her about this matter with her as the leader. I'll watch from the side. You don't need to ask me anything, Martin said. In order to change, he deliberately stretched out his hand to shake hands with Mr. Kwan. Mr. Kwan shook Martin's hand and felt a little cold, especially when he touched the calluses. His expression changed. Okay, nice to meet you. Let's talk business now. He sat down with the woman. Neha nodded and took out a document wrapped in brown paper. After opening it, there were several photos and several documents she made. This is a person you need to investigate. Take a look at his basic information. Then start to investigate this person to see what kind of person he is and whether he has any bad behavior. Bad behavior includes legal issues and social moral issues. These are all the content you need to dig out. What level of investigation is this? I hope you can tell me the truth. We charge different fees for different levels. If you lie, we have the right to ask you to pay for breach of contract after signing the contract. It's just an ordinary investigation, which can be regarded as a premarital investigation, but my boss hopes that you will take it as a case of the highest level. Money is not a problem. The deposit is 50,000 Shiacheo coins. We will give you this money first according to the contract, Neha said. Mr. Kwan took the document and looked at it and handed it to Mrs. Kwan next to him. After a while, she also nodded. Mr. Kwan said, no problem, we'll take this job. Martin said, give me your account number and the money will be deposited into it in the future. As for the details of the information, you can send it to this email. If necessary, we will also send someone to get the paper documents. Okay. Mr. Kwan took the envelope handed over by Martin and gave Martin their account number. After completing this step, Neha signed the confidentiality document on behalf of Zhou and then handed it to Martin. The two also took a document and said goodbye to them. Okay, we can go back. I have something to deal with, so I'll leave first, Neha said quickly and then took out the money to pay the bill. No, the boss will reimburse you. Martin said, you go first. I'll sit for a while. Neha was not polite and quickly took her bag and walked out. She didn't want to stay alone with this man for a moment. Staying next to him, it seemed that she could smell a corpse. She also knew that this was her own imagination, but she couldn't help feeling scared. When Neha rushed back to the company, Zhou and the third and fourth sisters had not arrived yet, so she was relieved. It felt a bit strange to do this. She and Zhou's sister had a pleasant cooperation, and the three of them had a good personal relationship. She was a foreigner who came to China from a foreign country, and many things were solved by the two of them. Although it was just to investigate a man, it was for her own good. But the feeling of betraying a friend did not ease. People abroad attach much more importance to sexual rights than in China. This is a basic right of people, no different from the right to freedom. The boss is also for Zhou's good. I just want to see what kind of person that man is. I'm paid by the boss. People care about my sister. What I can do as a subordinate is to execute orders. This is professional quality. She could only persuade herself like this, and she didn't dare to tell anyone about it. In the United States, you can tolerate a person's failure, but you can never tolerate a person's lack of professional quality, even if you are for the so-called justice. No one will hire you to work in the future, and this black spot will accompany you for life. Zhou, Sister Yu, and the third and fourth sisters entered the company chatting and laughing. Several girls at the front desk also looked at Zhou with a bit of fangirling. However, the expression of one of the girls was quite strange. Sister Yu only saw those fangirling women, and smiled and whispered to Zhou, "Look at our boss Zhou, there are a bunch of fangirls wherever he goes." Zhou pretended to be proud and said, "Some things are innate, you don't need to envy them. You are born, you are born." Sister Yu secretly twisted Zhou. "What are you talking about secretly?" the third sister said from behind. "Nothing," Sister Yu said quickly. Then she wanted to change the subject again. She said, "Zhou, your company's environment is very good. And the transportation is also very developed. It is a good place to do business and take orders." The third sister was happy to hear this, and began to show off her achievements. The original boss of this wedding company didn't have much ability, but his wife is really a capable person. They rented such a place, and the flow of people and customers are really good. It's a pity that her husband is not a good person. Recently, there are rumors that they are going to divorce, and the money is all in his wife's hands. In addition, he has an elder brother-in-law in finance and a younger brother-in-law in banking. After some operations, the money will be buried, and he may have to leave the house with nothing. Unexpectedly, Sister Yu kept nodding her head after listening. This woman is capable. If we have time, we may become good friends, if we get to know her. After pausing for a while, she said, "It's just that her vision is a little poor. She is unlucky to choose such a husband. Her vision is not bad. This is her third husband. She made a lot of money after the divorce of the first two. The third one just wants to find someone to rely on. Whether he has money or not is not the most important thing. I didn't expect that in the end it would be such a man. It's really unlucky." "How do you know so much?" Zhou couldn't help but wonder. It's easy to gossip. There is an employee in the company whose hometown is their nanny. Our source of information is really new, the third sister said proudly. Zhou looked impressed by her. "You are really good. You are a big boss, but you still do this. I'm willing to. I like it. Why is it so low?" The woman with flying eyebrows is really a strange animal. Zhou. After entering the company, the two sisters' secretaries followed. The third sister waved her hand and said, "Let's take you to inspect our company. By the way, I will introduce the company's senior management to you, and let the company's people know you. There is no need for this. I just came to take a look. The company will be yours in the future. It's just a business of tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins. Why should we make such a fuss?" Zhou said lazily. The two female secretaries only then knew what it meant to be domineering, and what it meant to be a kingly aura. It's just tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins. Just tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins. This is too domineering, and it means that the company is given to the two bosses. They have heard that the company was invested by the younger brother of the two bosses, but they don't know how many shares are in it. Many colleagues said before that they probably didn't invest any money, and when the company gets back the investment, the two of them will have shares. Now it seems that when the investment is back, the company will become this. I really envy the rich and generous relatives. Sometimes people are not born with a silver spoon in their mouths, but they can't help but be supplemented with a mountain of gold by their relatives the day after tomorrow. Chapter 564, Lying and Cinema. Zhou asked his third sister to have her feet bound and his fourth sister to have her head shaved, so he could only walk around the company with them obediently. They looked ordinary, so Zhou just took it as a way to see the girls in the company to refresh his eyes. He originally wanted to ask him to watch the wedding scene outside, but Zhou didn't want to go, even if he was beaten to death. Watching others show happiness for no reason? He is not that stupid, not to mention that there is Sister Yu by his side. Seeing others show happiness, he suddenly thought about going to the grave, and Zhou really had to be buried. Now he wants to die without a burial place. As for setting up a home for himself after death, forget it. We can cremate him without leaving any bones. This is our planning department. The third sister took Zhou to another department. Walking in here, you can feel a sense of romance. Every position seems to be filled with happiness, or it can be said that happiness is nakedly displayed. We change the theme here every month. The third sister began to introduce. Do you feel happy when you see this place? This is our venue environment. When doing wedding planning, no matter what creativity and novelty, the most important thing is to make people feel satisfied and happy. The third sister was very proud when introducing this thing. After reading foreign magazines, she also made a set of it herself and praised it as her creation. Okay, I don't plan to get married, so don't tell me about those things about getting married. What if I can't get married someday? That would kill you. Zhou waved his hand and said, getting married? What will get you killed by getting married? The third sister asked strangely, but after talking for a while, she seemed to think of something. Isn't it about your money again? Why do you always think about your little money? Can't you be less vulgar? Zhou said righteously. No, we live in the secular world. You want to be a clean stream. Is it possible? After a pause. Besides, I don't want to talk to you about money. The third sister was a little impatient. How can this kid remember so many things? Then what do you want to say? If not money, is there any other reason? You are not that. The fourth sister quickly spat at her. Go away. He has a girlfriend. Zhou looked at the third sister even more ridiculously, and when he came to his senses, he quickly said, my sexual orientation is normal. There is no need to discuss this. I really don't like men. The fourth sister looked at Zhou strangely and said meaningfully, I didn't say you are. It's not the case. Okay. Zhou looked at the third sister angrily and said, I mean, if we get married, with my personality, I will definitely divorce her. Think about it and forget it. You. The third and fourth sisters looked at Zhou angrily and really felt that, if they were not his sisters, they would really want to spit him in the face. He is now walking in the direction of the scumbag, and there is a reason for him. Okay, let's take a look. After the look, let's go to eat. My friend in Zhonghai recommended a restaurant, saying that it is quite delicious. Let's go and try it together in the afternoon. Zhou quickly changed the subject. HMPH. I won't look around anymore. Just go shopping by yourself. Why are you always thinking about eating? My life is like this. If I always think about making money, you will definitely scold me for being obsessed with money. I have so much money, but I still think about making money. Then he looked at them with a depressed face. I'm not going to make money now. I'll find some hobbies. I'll tell you a few more words. This person is really not that easy to be. Show off. Fourth sister, this kid is showing off to us here. Look, you just said one word to him, and he gave you a transcendental one. The third sister was unmoved, but said to the fourth sister with a face of affirmation, well, it's like this at first glance. The fourth sister also nodded. The two little secretaries behind them covered their mouths with their hands and laughed softly. Their shaking shoulders also showed how hard they were trying to hold it in. Laugh if you want to laugh. Holding it in is not good for your health. Fortunately, Han Guy went to answer the phone. She had to let her see you being a scoundrel next to her. The third sister said, Just as they were talking on the phone, Zhou phone rang. He picked it up and took a look at it, then looked at the two sisters with a guilty look. Answer it. Why are you looking at us? You guys are the ones who keep looking at me. Tell me what you want to do. The third sister was speechless. Hurry up and answer the phone. Ignoring them, Zhou took 2 steps to the side, feeling a little further away from them. Hello. A clear and slightly hoarse female voice came from the other side. Mr. J, you are so busy, and you didn't contact me after returning to China? I'm looking forward to meeting you as a producer. Zhou glanced at the sisters over there a little nervously, feeling guilty about a girl calling in at this time. Haha. I've been busy these days. I just discussed a project in Mont, and now I have just arrived at Zhonghai. I'm inspecting the company now. Inspecting? Did I disturb you? Zhu Jinglei asked. No, it's unprofessional for others to answer the phone, but when I answer the phone, it means something's going on. What a proud young man. Zhu Jinglei said jokingly, while holding the phone, and then turned off the Facebook on her computer, which showed the photos Zhou took in Montenegro. This was how she knew he had returned to China. You are really busy. Our small business is not worthy of your attention. How can it be? I have invested millions of dollars and still count on your box office. How can it be a small business? This money doesn't come from the wind. Zhou chatted with her in a nagging manner. During my time in China, I will arrange to go to the filming location in the capital. I really don't have time recently. Zhou explained, but he didn't realize why he was making up lies to explain to Zhu Jinglei. Or maybe he actually knew that he had some little tricks in his mind, but he just didn't want to admit it sometimes. Then you have to make arrangements. Set a time. I welcome you in the capital. The capital welcomes you. Zhu Jinglei chatted for a few words and hung up the phone. Zhou turned around and saw 2 sisters looking at him. The third sister asked, did you invest in movies? Zhou glanced at her and said, I just invested a little to try it out. It's quite easy to make money by making movies in China now. He knew from the suspicious eyes that the sisters were thinking of bad things like hidden rules. The domestic film market is getting bigger and bigger. If you find a good project to invest in, you can basically make several times the money. I want to test the waters first. Zhou is now hoping to get away with it by making up a story. I really don't have any hidden rules with any actresses. With my conditions, people would be eager to have sex with me. There's really no need. Besides, do you think I have such low tastes? The 2 nodded in tacit understanding. Very. I really want to bow down to you. Zhou 2 sisters really don't know what to do. However, recently I feel that investing in movies is not as good as opening a cinema. This thing doesn't care what kind of movie you shoot. Anyway, if it can make money, just schedule it more. If it doesn't make money, just take it off the screen. The domestic box office is increasing every year. This is also a good investment project. Movie theaters? Which ones can make money? Of course they can. When the box office of a movie comes out, the theaters in China can get 55 to 60%. The cinema can get about 40%, which is still very profitable. As long as China can maintain and increase the domestic movie box office, investment in cinemas will become more and more popular. This is a good investment project that his team found for him. At the beginning, he also took a special look because it was an investment from China. Whether the box office of movies in China will become larger and larger in the future, he certainly knows this. Just to be on the safe side, his team invested in cinemas in first and second tier cities in several developed provinces. $10 million converted into Chinese currency can open a lot of cinemas. The cinema business has not yet obtained a license, so it is not possible. Now several cinemas have been opened one after another, especially in his hometown. Almost all of them have been opened in the county. According to the data analysis provided by the team, even if this business is a loss, in 1 year, the cinema he invested in can almost double the price by half, which is definitely a good project. Now there is still a chance to talk about it, thanks to that time. In the afternoon, the company did not finish watching, but it did not affect the meal. I didn't come here just to see the company, so there was no need to make myself so boring. The food in this restaurant is good. Zhou nodded and praised. Especially this drunken crab is different from the local method in Zhou, but the taste is very special. It really melts in the mouth. Zhou's drunken crabs like to add rice wine. The more mellow the rice wine, the less it is added, but the taste becomes better. The last time I took you to eat was the Shanghai drunken crab. The third sister also took a bite and put it in her mouth. They first add garlic and marinate it with wuliangai and finally soak it in steamed fish soy sauce. The combination of garlic and wuliangai changes the molecules of the crab meat. So after you put the drunken crabs from Daoxuan in your mouth, you don't need to chew them at all. They will melt in your mouth, and the taste of steamed fish soy sauce is just right. The fourth sister said in a very knowledgeable manner. Fourth sister, how did you know? When have you come to eat here before? Why didn't you call me? That's too much, said the third sister. The fourth sister was amused and angry. She reached out and took something to the third sister. It's written here. You foodie, you actually wronged me just for eating. Why don't you just say read the introduction? Why do you need to talk about it as if you are very professional, as if you have eaten it several times? The third sister pouted and bit her back. Okay, are you going to eat or not? I ate it all. Zhao Jixi quickly stopped the two sisters from playing around. Are they going to eat or not? I said. Zhao, how many servings have you eaten? All the plates on the table are yours? The third sister was unhappy that Jay Chou was such a big eater. He enjoyed every dish and satisfied his taste buds. It was really a special torture for a girl who always talked about losing weight. Chapter 565. Looking for Zhao Jixi's investment. The meal was quite enjoyable. Jay Chou did not ask any questions about the man, and the third and fourth sisters did not bring up his private life. The meal was very in line with the national conditions and very harmonious. While he was eating, Li Shuang from South Korea was also eating with his cousin Li Jun, Jimmy Lee, who was somewhat friendly with Jay Chou. However, this friendship was established by Li Shuang. If it were not for his introduction, Jay Chou would not bother to pay attention to a child of a Korean family chaebol, who was not even a core member of that family. Shuang, you also have businesses in Jeju Island, so you should know the economic development there. This is another opportunity, which is definitely a good opportunity. If there weren't someone there who was a classmate of my father and has a close relationship with him, this matter would never have been our turn. Li Shuang drank a glass of soju, went over his words in his mind, and thought about it before cautiously speaking. Brother Jun, I can't make a decision on this matter. After all, it's not my business. Whether Jess is willing to invest is his business, and I can't make a decision. Li Jun was unmoved, and then said, now is the best time. The consequences of the economic crisis in 2008 have made more and more people unable to bear it. Real estate and land have fallen to a low point. We can definitely make money by buying at the bottom now, and there are also those ranches and farms. Isn't Jess's favorite to buy land, ranches, and farms? Just tell him, he will definitely be interested. Li Shuang also had his own considerations for his cousin's words. He has several tourist hotels and holiday apartments in Jeju Island. Compared with the previous 2 years, more and more people come to travel. He believed that the real estate there would become more and more popular, but whether others believed it or not was another matter. Especially Zhao Jixi, he knew that this brother liked to buy land, especially the kind of land with permanent ownership. He brought Zhao Jixi to Jeju Island, and he also liked the scenery here, but he didn't know if he had money to invest recently. I heard that he owed the bank more than $10 billion last time. He looked at Li Jun with some hesitation. Brother, I don't know if he has the funds to invest here. He seems to owe the bank more than $10 billion. Haha. Li Jun seemed to have heard something funny. Shuang, haven't you paid attention to Apple's stock and Facebook's market value recently? I've been busy recently. How can I have the spare time? I really envy you. Li Jun said first, you bought Apple stock and didn't pay attention to it. It's been very hot recently and it's growing very fiercely. Jess invested more than 10 billion in the bank and earned hundreds of millions a long time ago. The bank is eager to collect tens of millions of interest every year. How can there be more stable money than this? What's more, Jess's loans are all mortgaged with benign inherent assets. They are not afraid that Jess will not be able to repay the loan. It is very easy for him to continue to borrow money. Is that so? Li Shuang thought for a while. Okay, I'll go talk to him about it. If he's interested, we can work together to take over the houses and land. You can also introduce him to those farms and ranches, as well as the ranches with beaches and private bays. I believe he will be interested in this. He has wanted a private island for a long time. A private beach, private waters, how perfect. Li Shuang said with envy on his face, and Li Jun was also envious when he heard it. Haha. It's a pity that he always says that he doesn't have enough money. The cash appreciates very slowly after being spent. He almost just throws the money there. He can make a lot of money by buying stocks. There is not much potential for promotion. Li Jun suppressed his excitement and clapped his hands and said, that's right. The Jeju Autonomous Region government has designated several private beaches and a certain area of private waters connected to them. This one is equivalent to a smaller version of a private island. Although it costs some money to develop it, I think he doesn't lack this little money. The two of them discussed and felt that this was a promising thing. Originally, Li Jun had no intention of buying the real estate in Jeju Island at the bottom. Even if it was just a regional one, he didn't have so much money and couldn't enter the market at all. Who knew that when he went to the United States, his cousin introduced a friend to him? What he didn't expect was that this person also had influence in the Chinese and Asian American circles, as well as other cultural, financial and sports circles. This is not the most important thing. What is unbearable is that this person is actually such a rich man. When he was here, he earned more than $40 million in one auction. The private sale below also made tens of millions of US dollars. The watermelon auction above is still 4 times a year, and the private sale below is about twice a year. This is a real income of more than $200 million a year. Although he doesn't know how much it costs, he can guarantee that Zhou Jixi has also made a fortune. Now this business of over $100 million, his assets are not enough, and the people in the Jeju Island government told him that the most basic entry is $80 million to enter. It is a relatively cost-effective price to bid for a bankrupt real estate project, and the one he is interested in can almost be sold as long as he does some publicity. He can't wait for this cost-effective thing. Now the basic apartment is priced at more than 3 million won, which is equivalent to more than 20,000 yuan per square meter in the Chinese currency. This is just the market price of ordinary holiday apartments. For example, the prices of developed holiday villas are even higher. The few houses he took down were equivalent to 2,000 to 3,000 Chao coins. As long as they did a good job of after-sales service, they would still make some profit, even if they only sold 1/10 of the houses. For the rest, that could not be sold, they could open a house rental company, a travel company, or a vacation agency. They could take out some of the houses that were not sold and make them into vacation apartments or vacation villas for rental business. This was completely a free setup of a house vacation rental company, and they could also add a travel company and an agency. Of course, this was based on his confidence in the development of Jeju Island's houses and Jeju Island's tourism projects. Only when Jeju Island developed could it attract the attention of the rich people on the other side of the strait and attract them to buy houses here for vacation or invest in real estate. As long as they could buy their houses, they were so happy chatting that they drank soju faster. The alcohol content of this soju was not high, like white wine mixed with water. Although the taste was not like white wine mixed with water, it was actually just like that. Shuang, I'll leave my brother's affairs to you. I hope to get Jess's support and hope that we can make some money together through this cooperation. Li Jun picked up the wine glass and said formally. Li Shuang clinked his glasses with him and said, don't worry, brother, I will take care of this matter. As long as you give me the plan and proposal you have prepared, I will be sure to convince Jess. Besides, I'm optimistic about this project. Li Jun said with emotion. Thank you, Shuang. The two of them were eating in a small area in the barbecue restaurant. There was a screen outside to block other people's sight. In addition, the two people's voices when talking about key things were not loud, so others could not hear them. It was just that they were emotional at this time, and they didn't say anything key, so they spoke loudly. At this time, someone who happened to be gathering with friends heard the voice, sat down in another place, and looked over here deliberately. Seeing that it was Li Shuang, and Li Shuang also saw him, he greeted the people behind him and walked over. "Director Li, I didn't expect to meet you here." Li Shuang stood up and said happily, "Brother GC Ark, what a coincidence. There are no outsiders here, so don't be so polite." Then he looked at Li Jun and said, "This is my cousin, Li Jun." Then he introduced Li Jun. "I believe you must know our national host, Brother Jun." Li Jun nodded and stood up to say something. However, Li Shuang continued, "This is Liu Zaishi, who has helped me a lot in making programs for SBS. Hello, Liu Zaishi. Hello, Li Jun Hexi." After the two of them greeted each other, they both asked Liu Zaishi to sit here for a while and eat something first. They would wait for the dishes to come up, and it would not be too late for him to go over. In the end, Liu Zaishi couldn't refuse, and the people over there also knew that this was the director of SBS TV station. When Liu Zaishi went over to say hello, they also quickly asked him to go over to say hello first, and they would go over to toast later. Korea is a country that pays attention to seniority and social status. Sometimes you may get tired of such rules and feel that they are old-fashioned and full of decadence. However, as long as you are at the top of the food chain, you will think that this is a good custom. At least Li Shuang is a beneficiary of this. Sometimes he doesn't offend people when he invites people to drink. Moreover, many people know that he is here and come to say hello. He quickly picked up a few slices of beef that had just been grilled and handed them to Liu Zaishi. "Brother Zaishi, you are recording the program so late. Hurry up and eat something first." Liu Zaishi was not polite. He was also a close friend of this director's younger brother, but when there were outsiders, he had to maintain enough respect. Otherwise, people might say that he was not strict with himself and was so casual with the director. He relied on his good relationship with others to be casual. This was unacceptable to him. In addition, as a public figure, he was very careful and demanded himself at all times. This was also what Li Shuang admired about him. Otherwise, a national host would not have made such a deep friendship with others just because he helped him a little. Chapter 566, Girl Jessica. As Yu Ji-suk was chatting with the two people, the people at his original table also began to glance over there from time to time, and a few familiar people also secretly chatted about the gossip over there. "Annie, is that the director of SBS TV station? He looks so young." Well, don't look at his young age. Among the directors of the TV station, his voice is ranked in the top few, and many directors follow his lead. So amazing. The girl's mouth was almost shaped into an O, and she was secretly amazed. Even her face, which originally looked a little cold, became very cute. Listening to the girl's words, she seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly asked, "Jessica, I remember that Sunny and Director Lee of SBS TV station have a good personal relationship?" The agent suddenly asked in a low voice, "Then why don't you know him?" Jessica shook her head and said, "No, I don't know him, but I have heard the kids talk about it. Yuri and Sunny in the group know him, and Yuna seems to know him too, but he is more familiar with the Chinese guy. The rest of us have never met them." The agent listened and thought for a while, then slowly uncoaxed, "Jessica, you should go over to toast later. Since there is this relationship, you should be polite when meeting your seniors." "That's not good," Jessica said embarrassedly. "I'm not familiar with Director Lee either. Xiu Yan. In the entertainment industry, every connection is a guarantee for future life. The career lifespan of you idols and star idols is not long. If you don't accumulate more connections, how can you live in the future? Annie is doing this for your own good." "This, Annie, I know, so don't say it anymore." The little cold face started to act coquettishly and also exuded a sense of beauty. "I believe you also know about Sunny." The brother she recognized directly told her not to be an idol. Change her career to help him do things. Sunny's mother and Director Lee's mother have a very good personal relationship. And I heard that the Chinese Jay Chou regards Director Lee's mother as his own mother, and he also calls Sunny's mother aunt. In addition to their own friendship, she can at least be a director representative in the future. This job is easy and has social status, the agent said with an envious look on his face. Little Sun is not the most popular in the group, but his off-field strength is the strongest. Let's not talk about his uncle, the art director, Lee Soo-man, the founder of SM Company. Just talking about the two people he knows, it will be enough for her to benefit in the future. She has struggled for so many years, and compared with her, she can only envy her. As if to impress Jessica, she said with envy. Even Yuri seems to have said that he can arrange it. The most amazing one is Yuna. This kid is very smart. She found an opportunity to get close to the young rich man, and now the relationship seems to be very good. It's not that I want you to do anything. People of their level will never lack women. What they lack is the kind of people who can make them feel close. It's just to build a good relationship and leave a friendship. These people will be enough for you to eat for a long time if they show their little things. This agent is one of the agents in the group and has a good relationship with Jessica. The girl's mother often calls her and asks her to take care of her daughter. Based on the fact that they are both Korean Americans, they are also in the same circle in private, so she said these words to Jessica. It is not strange that Korean sea turtles look down on Koreans. They often like to make a circle in private, where everyone chats and plays, and excludes people who have no experience in the United States or other countries from their circle. This situation is from children to teenagers to adults. There are such circles, and exchanges or parties are held regularly. Showing their American citizenship or study abroad experience, they feel superior to these Korean bumpkins. Jessica hesitated. This is not her forte. Although she used to look down on the captain, she really couldn't compare with him in terms of his ability to treat people. Don't say anything. You go there by yourself later. I can't go with you. Otherwise, the atmosphere will change. You went there as a member of the group, and you are the sister of Sunny and Yuri. It is normal and polite to go there to pay your respects. Jessica was embarrassed for a while, but after seeing that her manager said so, she agreed. After all, she was doing it for her own good. Shuang, you guys eat first. I have to go take care of things over there, so I can't stay here with you. I'm so sorry. Brother, should I be sorry? I'll take you there and have a couple of drinks with those seniors. You don't drink. Lee Shuang said with concern. No, really no. It will be more embarrassing for you to go over to them. After all, they are not from SBS. Liuze, she said. Lee Shuang heard him say that, and he also felt that it was true. Although the relationship between several TV stations is not as tense as before, it is not a good influence for him, a director of SBS, to meet people from other TV stations' program groups at this time. Whether you intend to poach them or not, they will understand it this way. Okay. After Liuze left, the two continued to drink, and the ambitions just now were still burning in their hearts. Lee Jun thought that he could make a career and let the people in the family see that Lee Jun, was not a waste, and he had not accomplished anything big in his 30s. Lee Shuang just wanted to make some money. He was going to get married after falling in love recently. He planned to make some investments in China and open a formula company. By borrowing the connections of his mother in China and the connections of the TV stations in Korea, he might be able to accomplish a lot of things. Although these things are all good, the basic requirement is that you need money. Now, the more money you can make, the better. Houses in the capital of China are really expensive. Even the one he has now is still rented. Buying a house of more than 100 square meters costs more than 3 million yuan. A slightly better location and a villa are even more expensive. There are 50,000 to 60,000 yuan per square meter. Sometimes I realize that this money is really not worth spending. Although her mother has some money, a man of this age still has to use his mother's money to buy a house. Although the shares of the TV station he holds now also belong to his mother, she has given it to him. That feeling is a little different. After all, this is now his career. He also struggles in this TV station and earns money. It doesn't feel strange to spend it like his own. Some things are best done in one go. Lee Shuang thinks now is a good time. The idea of calling now popped up in his mind. He took out the phone and wondered whether to call to ask, but it felt a little inappropriate at night. Although I know that the night owl may not be asleep, he may be fighting with a woman at this time. Hello, Director Lee, I'm Jessica from Girls' Generation. He was thinking, and a female voice interrupted his train of thought. He turned his head and saw a pretty girl standing in front of him. Girl's generation? Girl's generation? He murmured a few words and then excitedly slapped his thigh. Yes, girl's generation. Sunny and Yuri are in it. Sunny and Yuri? Jessica was instantly absurd. Although Sunny was responsible for the handsomeness of the group, she had nothing to do with the boys. And Yuri, that kid, became a boy here? Although she was absurd, she was unconscious in her heart and felt a lot more at ease. Li Shuang looked at Jessica with a scrutinizing look, and after staring at him for a while, he said, "You should be Jessica? I guess I didn't recognize it wrongly. I just introduced it." "Okay, AI goo, did you just hear it?" Jessica complained in her heart. "Yes, director. So she is a Sunny's teammate. Didn't that child cause you any trouble in the group?" Li Shuang said affectionately. "I heard that this kid, no, I heard that this child is quite noisy. Jessie asked me to take care of her more. I have been flying around recently, and I haven't seen this child for a while." "Ah, Sunny, you really think she is your mother's child when you say that?" Jessica complained in her heart, but she couldn't help but envy Sunny. Although she is Li Suman's niece, she didn't comment on this in the group, so no one cared too much about it. But this time, a director of a big TV station said that Sunny is their child. He also asked a director of a well-known multinational company to entrust her to take care of her, which made Jessica a little jealous. Jessica quickly said, "No, Sunny is a good girl. We all like her very much." "You're welcome. I know a little bit about this girl. Her sister and I are classmates." Li Shuang smiled and said, "When I met her before, she was a little mischievous. She recognized my brother as her older brother some time ago. With her personality, she might play games again during rehearsal." Jessica paused, and what Li Shuang said was right. The agent didn't dare to control Sunny in the first place, and he was even less willing to control her recently. She could still accept the presence of a few sisters. After all, they have all been through a lot. Li Shuang smiled knowingly and said, "Okay, I know this kid. I'm really sorry to trouble you. Next time I will definitely treat you to a meal as a reward." He paused and immediately said, "By the way, are you free tomorrow? Otherwise I'll treat you to a meal tomorrow. A friend of mine is opening a hotel, and we can go there to add some popularity." I don't know. It depends on the schedules of the agents and sisters. Jessica said honestly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 567, Promised. The feeling was a little different. After all, this was his career now. He also worked hard in this TV station. He didn't feel strange spending the money he earned. Some things were best done in one go. Li Shuang felt that now was a good time. The thought of calling right now came to his mind. He took out his phone and thought about whether to call to ask, but it was a little inappropriate at night. Although he knew that the night owl might not be asleep yet, he might be fighting with a woman at this moment. "Hello, Director Lee, I'm Jessica from Girls' Generation," he was thinking, and a female voice interrupted his thoughts. He turned his head and saw a pretty girl standing in front of him. "Girls' Generation? Girls' Generation?" He murmured a few words and then excitedly slapped his thigh. "Yes, Girls' Generation. Sunny and Yuri are in it." Sunny and Yuri? Jessica was instantly ridiculous. Although Sunny was responsible for the handsomeness of the group, she had nothing to do with the boy. And Yuri, that kid, has become a kid here? Although she was absurd, she felt relieved. Li Shuang looked at Jessica with a scrutinizing look, and after staring at him for a while, he said, "You should be Jessica? I guess I didn't recognize it wrong. I just introduced it." "Okay, AI goo, did you hear it just now?" Jessica complained in her heart. "Yes, director. So she is a Sunny's teammate. Didn't that kid cause you any trouble in the group?" Li Shuang said affectionately. "I heard that this kid, no, I heard that this kid is very noisy. Jessie asked me to take care of her more. I have been flying around recently, and I haven't seen this kid for a while." "Ah, Sunny, you really think that this is your mother's child?" Jessica complained in her heart, but she couldn't help but envy Sunny. Although she is Lee Soo-man's niece, she didn't comment on this in the group, so no one cared too much about it. But this time, a director of a big TV station said that Sunny was their child. He also asked a director of a well-known multinational company to take care of her, which made Jessica a little jealous. Jessica quickly said, "No, Sunny is very good. We all like her very much. You're welcome. I know a little about this child. Her sister and I are classmates." Lee Shuang smiled and said, "When I met her before, this child was a little quirky. Some time ago, she recognized my brother as her brother. With this child's personality, she might play games again during rehearsal." Jessica paused, and what Lee Shuang said was right. Sunny's agent didn't dare to manage her in the first place, and recently he dared not manage her casually. She could accept it if it was just a few sisters. After all, everyone had been through a lot. Lee Shuang smiled knowingly and said, "Okay, I know this kid. I'm really sorry to trouble you. Next time I will definitely treat you to a meal as a reward." He paused and immediately said, "By the way, are you free tomorrow? Otherwise I'll treat you to a meal tomorrow. A friend of mine is opening a hotel, and we can go there to add some popularity." I don't know. It depends on the schedules of the agents and sisters. Jessica said honestly. "Is that so?" Lee Shuang touched his chin and thought for a while. "Then I will call your general agent. I will invite you to attend. It is the Seoul new hotel that has been promoted very hard recently. I believe your company will agree. They seem to have invited many stars and idols to go there." Idol equals idol. Lee Shuang said so. Of course Jessica couldn't refuse. So she nodded and agreed. Lee Shuang was in a better mood seeing that the first step was done. Lee Jun next to him saw that his little cousin was confident and was happy to cooperate with him. He also chatted with the so-called idol singer who he didn't want to pay much attention to. The son of an aristocratic family doesn't have much money, but he still has pride in his bones. What's more, in a traditional country like South Korea, Lee Jun can do this because of his cousin in Jae Chao. Otherwise, a so-called actor, oh no, not even an actor, just a Korean idol singer on the assembly line, who has not yet mixed up to the point of being received by the president, then in their eyes, he really has no status. Jessica didn't dare to stay here for too long. She was a junior at her original table, and she had to go over to take care of the seniors. Otherwise, it would be very impolite. Lee Shuang certainly couldn't let them make things difficult. He still understood the bad habits in Korea. The people there might not dare to say much because of his status, but they would definitely blame this girl for being impolite. "It's okay, you go back first." "Thank you, director." Jessica bowed and said, "Call me brother Shuang from now on." Seeing that the girl wanted to say something, he waved his hand and said, "Okay, go back quickly. When you go back in the evening, say hello to Sunny and Yuri on my behalf, and tell them about the matter by the way. If your company doesn't prepare any dresses, I'll send them to you." Seeing Jessica's embarrassment, Lee Shuang patted his head and said, "Forget it. You talk to Sunny about this matter. This kid won't be as polite as you." He also knew that he was not very familiar with the girl, so it was a bit too much to say this. He should just call Sunny and ask her to call Zhou Jixi over. He will make a phone call here. He doesn't believe that this guy won't come. "Then Shuang brother, I'll take my leave first." Jessica bowed to Lee Shuang and Lee Jun and said, "Yeah." Jessica's face turned red after drinking a little wine, and she looked really cute at this moment. One of her little hands kept fanning her face, as if she felt a little stuffy. The agent listened to her words in a low voice, and couldn't help but said excitedly, "Jessica, I didn't expect you to have such a powerful social skill. You turned the director into a brother. The other party also invited you to attend the opening ceremony of the Seoul new hotel. This is really amazing." Jessica was a little surprised to see her so excited. "Annie, what's so exciting about this? Don't we usually go to a lot of opening ceremonies or other ceremonies? Although it may look like a large-scale event, didn't we also take over the large Samsung group?" The agent patted her arm, looked at her gently, and explained, "Silly child, this is different from the activities you usually go to." What you went to is called a commercial performance. That is, after the performance, you have the opportunity to change clothes and go to the cocktail party or go directly to the next one. Yes, that's right. Jessica also nodded and said, this is a common sense question. You girl, you usually look very smart, but you are really a silly child at this moment. The agent looked at the other people around, and after seeing that there was a little distance, he whispered again, how can this be the same? When you went there before, you were just a performer, doing it for those capitalists to see, not performing for your fans who support you. I think you should understand the difference between them. Although compared to those who can't even get a performance here, you are already what they yearn for or envy. But smart people know that being qualified to participate in that kind of high-end cocktail party and being invited by them is what people envy. That also means that this artist has accumulated a certain amount of connections, has communicated with the upper class of this society, and can mix in some high-end places. This is capital, not just performing or something. Jessica has been in Korea for so long, and she also thought about what her agent, Annie, said. Yes, when she was not standing on the stage, her heart was full of yearning for that place. But after receiving this kind of cheers, in some high-end occasions, she began to envy those, communicating with 3 good friends below, a glass of champagne and a glass of red wine, chatting and communicating. I think I understand it a little bit. She nodded seriously and said, her speech speed was not very fast, and she thought it through very clearly. The agent nodded with satisfaction, and he really understood everything. Jessica, what are you two talking about? Can you share it with me? Liu Zaishi just noticed it. They were noticed by Liu Zaishi when Jessica went there. Hello, brother Zaishi. They bowed quickly and said. Li Shuang over there called Zhao Jixi, and it happened that he was troubled by many things recently. After receiving the call from his brother, he immediately picked up the phone and answered it. There were a lot of nonsense polite words at the beginning, and then he started to talk about things. Korea has been doing well recently. Are you calling to show off to your brothers? Haha. How could it be? Master Zhao is a well-known rich man. How can I compare with you with my wealth? How dare I show off in front of you? Li Shuang said to Zhao Jixi jokingly. Forget it. Girls can also do the job of answering the phone. Don't start talking nonsense to me again. Zhao Jixi laughed and scolded. What's the matter with you now? Are you calling to chat or gossip with me? Nothing. I just want to ask you to come over and play. Brother Jun wants to thank you very much. What happened in the United States a while ago was still thanks to your help. Li Shuang couldn't find a reason, so he started to make up stories. Chapter 568. I'm here again. 3,900 to make up for yesterday's debt. I still remember Lee Junha, the Korean Zhao Jixi. The stereotype of Koreans can sometimes leave a deep impression on people. You're too polite. This is the only small matter between us, yet you're still being polite to me. Let's put things aside. We have a close relationship, that's ours. You helping Jun is his business and yours. He wants to thank you sincerely. Li Shuang said, of course, I have one more thing to tell you. Come over and talk about it, and see if it's interesting. Well, how do you want to thank me? You're so polite. Zhao Jixi paused. What's the matter? No, are you asking me to go to Korea? By the way, as for how to thank you, you'll know when you come over. Li Shuang pretended to be mysterious and said, oh and more. I've asked some sisters from girls' generation to attend together. I told people you would come. Zhao Jixi was no longer able to understand his brother's interest. Girls' generation? Do you really think I would give up my principles for a woman? Humph. Zhao Jixi said with disdain. Well, I haven't submitted my visa. Your customs wouldn't let me through when I went there. I'm not going to Jeju Island. It's okay. I'm going to arrange an emergency business meeting. The Jeju Island government will help you. I guarantee you will be able to enter the country when you arrive. I've booked your flight tomorrow. It's a morning flight. You will arrive in Seoul in 2 hours. Great. I admire you. Zhao Jixi knew that this guy must have something to say to him now. Okay, I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I'll go over and take a look. You can buy some gifts for me first. Choose them carefully. I'll pay you back when I get there. Okay, then I'll buy them for you first. Look how polite you are. That's different. I have the money to pick up girls. The two chatted for a few words, and Li Shuang hung up the phone with a smile on his face. Brother, I'll be here tomorrow. You can talk to the government and issue an emergency business visa. With the guarantee of the Jeju provincial government, it will be issued soon. No problem. Li Jun nodded and started to make a phone call with a smile on his face to solve this matter. Zhang He the third and fourth sisters were talking about fashion, bags, and accessories with Sister Yu. In the past few days, the three of them became familiar with each other and talked more. Unlike when they first came, Sister Yu didn't know what to say. She felt that the business world was a bit dwarfed here. However, after she fully exerted her aura as a strong woman, she immediately conquered the two sisters. Many problems in the company, which they thought were troublesome, were handled by Sister Yu very simply. She was strict and drastic. With just a few opinions, the company's operation speed was much faster. Several employee rules and management regulations were added. It also made those girls work more seriously. The two women who decided to make a career instantly became good friends with Sister Yu. The degree of humility and learning was no less than that of students who had a crush on a beautiful female teacher. They tried as hard as they could, but there were also many disadvantages. Recently, the nights were long, and he was very angry. He was embarrassed to go to the two kept lovers. He liked this kind of thing that didn't involve too much emotion. But it was not easy to start with, so many people watching around him. He liked Li Shuang's suggestion. It would be nice to go to Korea for a few days and find someone to cool off. It was definitely a good idea. He agreed without thinking too much. He turned around and said to the women, I'm going to Korea tomorrow. You guys are going shopping these 2 days, so I won't go. Going to Korea? What are you going to do in Korea? The third sister asked in surprise. Yeah, you've only been in Zhanghe for a few days. The Chinese New Year is coming in a month or so. Why are you going to Korea? The fourth sister also asked. Shuang said there is a good project there. I want to go and see it. Zhao Jixi certainly couldn't say he was going to play because Sister Yu was still here. Although she doesn't plan to marry Yu, she also wants to spend some time together. But she is with someone right now. If she goes out to play, doesn't it mean she is cheating? Although he does have this idea, he is taking action now. What project did that Korean guy ask you to do? The third sister said, isn't he from that TV station? Then she got a little angry and said, last time, he said he would get me a few Korean stars to support the scene. Damn, I haven't even seen any of them. Don't let me see this guy in the end. Get a few? Third sister, can you stop treating them like commodities? It's easy to get a few. Zhao Jixi was sweating. Aren't Korean stars sold in dozens? Sister, it's not a dozen is 12. Last time, it was said in batches, which means they grow back after being cut. The fourth sister corrected. These two people. Zhao Jixi hurriedly interrupted the two people and said, okay, I'll be back in a few days. Let's not say your speechless words. Then he walked towards the inner room. If it weren't for the need to investigate that man recently, Zhao Jixi didn't want to stay in the sister's house all the time. Once the two of them made a little louder, they would probably find out. This matter made him feel embarrassed, so he endured it for the past 2 days. In addition, the matter of secretly asking Mizi to buy a house was still in progress, so he had no choice but to stay. The housing prices in Zhanghe, the magic city, were really not cheap. Zhao Jixi planned to buy a few houses in a better location, and each house would cost at least 4 or 5 million Cheyenne Cheo coins. Although 1 square meter was not as high as the tens of thousands in the future, it was definitely not cheap. A house with 4 bedrooms and 1 living room of more than 200 square meters would definitely not be expensive in 1 or 5 years. After running into the house, Zhao Jixi took a set of clothes at random, just for show, and there were still clothes in the space. At worst, he could buy clothes after going to Korea. Anyway, with the current clothing consumption, he would not feel that he could not afford as much as he bought. He only brought a set of handmade luxury suits. From top to bottom, the price was almost all pasted with banknotes. If it was US dollars, it would probably take a lot of money to cover the whole body, and it would probably take several layers of Korean won and Japanese yen. After all, custom-made clothes take a lot of time, and if you buy them now, you can't buy the most suitable one. Attending a banquet of Koreans, this group of people who pay great attention to appearance will definitely make him feel blinded by his outfit. People in this country always like to judge a person's value by appearance, and the same is true for appearance. It is definitely a bit rude for a girl to go out without makeup. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is a bit perverted, but it is also right for people to pursue beauty, so sometimes there are some contradictions. After packing up, he went out again. The women outside had been eating fruits and chatting for a long time. It was inappropriate for a man like him to show affection with Sister Yu inside, and it felt even more strange to interrupt the topic. He could only hold a mobile phone and play. "Hey, I'm going abroad tomorrow. Why don't you care more about me?" Zhou Jixi couldn't hold it back. "Care? It's only more than an hour's flight, flying across the province. Why do you have to make it so weird?" The third sister said without turning her head. "Are you still my sister? Forget it. I'm such a pig to argue with you about this." Then he looked at the fourth sister again. "Fourth sister, why don't you say something? Your brother is going abroad?" The fourth sister looked calm. "I agree with the third sister. Forget it, you too." Zhou Jixi looked depressed. "Sister Yu, I still have to help Uhu and Lin deal with the company's affairs. Aren't you going shopping? That's called an inspection." Sister Yu said. The next day, Zhou Jixi took his bodyguards to make a plane, and South Korea approved several visas. Zhou Jixi, his bodyguards and Mizi set off for the international airport. Martin was still secretly in Zhonghe, and only he and Neha knew about this, so he didn't need to go with him. The plane flying in the sky can see white clouds that have already turned into mist. Looking into the distance, if the weather is good, you can also see cotton candy-like clouds. The beautiful stewardess shuttled in the first class cabin. Korean Airlines did a good job in this regard. The girls have long legs and black stockings, which are very attractive. Although I don't know how many of them are artificial beauties, who cares what you look like when you have sex in bed? Even if you don't do that, it's pleasing to the eye, isn't it? After getting off the plane, Zhou Jixi looked at the sky outside. "Girls, brother is coming." Zhou Jixi was determined to have sex with some Korean beauties. "I have been here several times, but I didn't leave a wonderful impression in this country. It's really a failure to lose face." He walked out of the airport quickly through the special channel, and two people were waiting for him in the distance. Koreans, especially in Seoul, are very distinctive in their dressing. Some are urban girls, some are cold and white collar, some are enchanting and feminine, and some are professionally seductive. Or they are cute and kawaii, and the colors of their clothes are well matched. Although the dress is not very figure revealing, the cute appearance is also very attractive. I won't describe the other hip hop and independent genres one by one. It's really a good feeling. It's a place similar to Shanghai, and some places are even crazier than Shanghai. Almost every girl has manicure, eyeliner, false eyelashes. What Jay Chou didn't know was that many Korean girls also wear wigs. Korean men look a little stiff in his aesthetics, or in the aesthetics of most Chinese men. Their so-called handsome guys are a little stiff, or just like an ordinary person. A person who looks clear can also have that effect when dressed up. And there are really not many so-called handsome guys seen at the airport. There are quite a few men with big faces and strange glasses, especially like to wear a hat or put on the hood behind the clothes. There are also quite a few wearing suits, and the slim windbreaker popular in Korea can be seen in various colors and styles. The profession is fashionable, although it may not be very comfortable to wear, but it looks good. Jay Chou can already see the people who are meeting him at the airport in the distance. His cousins are dressed in a showy way and also wear sunglasses to the airport. Especially Lee Jun, who is in his 30s, dressed up in a casual and handsome look, and really looks like a young man, but with a little mature taste, like the taste between oppa and a bastard, which has a long history, and is very attractive to young girls. For men, this kind of people are usually villains, coming to steal your girlfriend, and they are talking about young mature men like him. "Hey, Jesse, this way." Li Xuan waved and shouted. Zhou Jixi also smiled and waved to them, and the baggage followed him with their own bags. One of them was pushing a cart, which were all the bodyguard's things. Zhou Jixi just had a flat box, which contained the clothes he brought specially. "Hey, Xuan, Jan brother. Zhao Jixi walked up to them and hugged them each. Li Shuang punched him again. You kid has trained your muscles. If I don't exercise more every day, I will be despised by you. Yes, Jesse, I have to feel inferior when I see your figure. Li Jun also said enviously. Brother Jun, don't mislead Shuang. You are already good. If you want to be like me, you won't have this temperament, and you will probably be a few years older. Haha. The three of them exchanged a few words, and then got on the car they sent to pick them up. Let's go to my place first, and fix our image, and then go to enter in the afternoon. Li Jun said to Zhao Jixi in the car. Okay, as long as there is a little sister. Zhao Jixi nodded in agreement, and then began to complain. You don't know how depressed my brother has been these days. What's wrong? Aren't you with the third and fourth brothers? Did that tomboy bully you again? Li Shuang asked teasingly. Go to hell. Be careful or I'll tell my sister. Zhao Jixi hit him, and he didn't dare to take the blame. But it also has something to do with them. Didn't I bring a girl over during this period? I didn't intend to introduce her to them. Who knew that I was just naughty and they saw her at the airport? How old are you? What's the big deal? Isn't she just a woman? Why do they care about this? Li Jun asked in disbelief. He received Western education in college and spent a few years in Switzerland, so he, who grew up under the patriarchal system, also found this matter very strange. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal either. Zhao Jixi agreed. Oh, this is not the key. I was staying in a hotel and I can do whatever I want. Yeah, but I found something at my sister's house. This thing forced me to stay at their place so that I could feel at ease. Living at their place, you asked me to do that thing. I felt a little weird, so I have been holding it in for several days. I didn't say it in detail. Chapter 569, Gathering. Oh, I guess the third brother is in love. Li Shuang is worthy of being Zhao Jixi's brother. Even if he didn't say it, this kid could guess it. You kid, I guess you are looking for someone to investigate him. Zhao Jixi looked at him with admiration and didn't intend to make fun of them. Awesome, you guessed it in a moment. I have to watch that man there. I don't think this old guy is a good guy. But, I guess you are judging others by yourself. Whether he is good or not, he is a suspect before there is a result. What Jixi said makes sense. It's better to check this person. After all, there are too many people with ulterior motives. Li Jun agreed with Zhao Jixi's approach. Brother, you understand me. Okay, I understand you. Why don't you be gay? Li Shuang said. Brat, I'm your brother. How dare you talk about your senior like that? Z. Seeing Li Jun taking action, Zhao Jixi also took advantage of the chaos to attack. Yeah. Brother, you dare to let him be gay? I'm not hitting you for me. Ah. Brat, down there, be careful, your sister-in-law will kill you. Ah. Zhao Jixi took his hand back and grinned. Anyway, he's been pinched, and he probably won't survive, so I'd better be ruthless. The bathroom door in girls' generation's dormitory opened a little bit, and the girl shouted outside, Tiffany, help me get my clothes. Tian, come out and change. Everyone is changing. Tiffany said, gesturing with the necklace in her hand. She turned around and said to others, Sunny, this is a gift from your chopper. It's so beautiful. Sunny squinted her eyes and pouted her lips. Why are they the same as yours? As if they were picked out from the same store? In fact, it was true. Li Shuang went directly to the Cartier store and spent 100 million won, equivalent to 100,000 US dollars, more than 700,000 Chinese yuan, to buy several pieces of jewelry. Last week, Jess's name was given to people. Each person had about 70,000 to 80,000 yuan, which would not seem to be too cheap, nor would it make people feel too expensive. I don't know if someone came by themselves, but sent someone to deliver the things. Oh, our little son, it's rainy now. Hioyan joked with her. We also benefited from it this time. Usually, the company would not agree to such expensive gifts. Not only did someone give us gifts this time, but the company also had no objection. Huang Miang also said with a smile. Okay, kids, change into your dresses quickly. We have to go to the beauty salon later. Do you want to attend this cocktail party without makeup? Tian came out wrapped in a bath towel and clapped her hands. Yuna's eyes lit up this time, and she gestured to the sisters to keep quiet, then ran over and pulled Tian's bath towel, revealing her white, tender and firm skin. So white. Tian raised her eyebrows and immediately went wild, screaming, "Ah! Perverted Yuna! Woman, it's no use for you to scream, I'm here." Then several female voices rang out, "We are here too. Ah, Unni, you are so perverted." Xia Hyan covered her face over there, looking embarrassedly at the people playing on that white body. Amid the laughter, the dormitory doorbell rang, and everyone quickly got up, changed their clothes, and packed up. Xia Hyan ran over to see who was coming. A girl outside the door shouted, "Annie, open the door." Zuzan turned around and said to them, "It's little Crystal. You scared me. I thought it was the manager upper and the Unnies." Yuna patted her chest, and her face relaxed. Auno pulled down. "Little Crystal, what is this girl doing here?" Jessica said curiously, and walked over to open the door. "Hurry up and get ready, I'm opening the door." "Open it, it's open." Tian has already run to the room, Yuri said. Jessica opened the door, and the face of her younger sister, who was a bit like her, was imprinted in her eyes. And the height, it's okay that she is taller than her, and the frame is bigger than her. How come this younger sister looks more like the older sister? It's really depressing. With a strange look on her face, she asked her, "Why are you here? No notice today. No practice today. It's a rest day today. No notice. I came to see you." Then she whispered in Jessica's ear, "I heard that you can attend a high-end cocktail party?" Jessica rolled her eyes at her sister. "You are really nosy? Is it true?" The girl asked, and saw her sister wearing a dress. Several sisters inside were also wearing dresses. "Oh my god, you are really going. The dresses have been changed." The girl exclaimed with envy. "Xiaojing, come in when you come." Tian also changed her clothes and came out. A white changsha dress, matched with a pair of sky-high high heels, made her look more slender. Zheng Xiaojing got in from Jessica's side, and saw the girls who were all in dresses. Her face was full of envy. She couldn't help looking at the nearest Tiffany sister. "You are so beautiful." "You kid, you will be so beautiful in the future," the girl said with relief. "These dresses are great, and the design sense is also very strong. They are different from what I usually wear. I also want to wear them," Zheng Xiaojing said. "Of course, this is bought by the company at a high price. I just heard people discussing this, and I thought it wasn't true. I didn't expect to see this when I came here. I'm so envious of you sisters. I'm a girl too. I want to be a girl too." Zheng Xiaojing rolled over and over in a coquettish manner. Haha. At a beauty salon there are so many beauty salons in Korea, but there are only a few good ones. Li Shuang came to the one that his godmother usually goes to. The president here is very familiar with her, and Li Shuang also recognizes her. Now the three of them are sitting inside, and several women are helping to do their hair. Men don't have to wear makeup, but a good hairstyle is absolutely necessary. Zhao Jixi didn't object to this. Makeup and the like, it's indeed a bit strange for a grown man to put on makeup on his face, but getting a hairstyle is a normal thing. After getting his hairstyle done, he did feel a lot more handsome, and the other two people also liked him a lot more. I said, "Didn't you just ask me to come here to play? Tell me what's the matter?" Haha. Of course I asked you to come here to play. But, it's just one of the reasons, Li Shuang said with a smile. Then he said with a bit of mystery, "There is something I want to ask you for some investment, and by the way, there is something you may be interested in." Zhao Jixi rolled his eyes. "You said so on the way, and you still say it now, please. Change some new words, okay? Z. Let's play for 2 days first." They are still sitting on the plan. "You can see it later. It doesn't feel very ideal to say it now," Li Shuang said. He had already asked Li Jun to quickly make the information over there into a plan, but he was a little anxious when he thought of Zhao Jixi. His plan was not ready yet, especially the beach ranch, and he had to take good photos on the spot to attract people at first sight. "You are really speechless. The plan has to be made now. Just tell me directly. Play first, play first," Li Shuang said vaguely, and then wanted to change the subject. "I guess a few of your love sisters will come. How about it? Are you sure you can win them over?" Zhao Jixi didn't hesitate to ask further. "Then I don't know. Let's see." Sunny is too familiar to be easy to talk to. The last time I saw her, the other girls in the group were also very cute. Let's take a look now. If you like her, just pursue her. Anyway, as long as you are romantic, these girls are easy to deal with, Li Jun said with experience. Zhao Jixi said with a headache, I really don't like playing with feelings. I feel a little bit that in this regard. Of course, Jun brother, I'm not saying anything about you. It's just that sometimes I can't get over this hurdle in my heart. This is a bit difficult. Li Jun was not angry. This kid likes one night stands the most. You just find him such a girl. Li Shuang took over and said, and then looked at Zhao Jixi a little strangely. Forget it. This kid is the kind of person who says one thing and means another. Zhao Jixi didn't respond. He really meant that. Anyway, we are not Chinese, so we feel less pressure. Why can they date and have multiple relationships, but we can't? Li Shuang said to Li Jun with a knowing look on his face. See, I knew he wanted to abandon his moral integrity and build a saintly archway at the same time. He said that sometimes it is like that, but sometimes he may not mind it. The language of the Celestial Empire is so profound, so profound. Li Jun said with admiration. Li Shuang looked at the clock on the wall, turned around and said to the two of them, it's almost time. We are almost time. Let's get ready to go. The hairstylist behind them tidied up some small details to make them more refined. Zhao Jixi took a look and felt that the higher price made sense. Compared with the barbers and hair salons, they really felt much more professional. Their car drove to the hotel. There were already many reporters taking pictures outside, and many celebrities had just entered. When this hotel opened, it hired a very powerful public relations company and invited many big-name celebrities. When Zhao Jixi and the other two came down, the reporters didn't pay much attention, but the shareholders of the hotel did. The owner of the hotel is Li Jun's elder. It's just that the people who manage it are his children, who are Li Jun's relatives and friends. Chapter 570, Here I come, and see the girl again. Among them, the people from Samsung Mobile also talked to him a lot. Now Apple is a big customer of Samsung. There are several kinds of screens for Apple products, but they all want their products. There are too many suppliers who want to replace them. Although Zhao Jixi doesn't care much, he can't offend them. Zhao Jixi is not very familiar with him, but he still greets him enthusiastically. The previous few waves of people didn't seem so enthusiastic. He was really a little flattered. Mr. Zhao, you are really great. You have extraordinary investment vision, and even the games you make are really great. You're polite. It's just good luck. Zhao Jixi said modestly. He knew in his mind that the old man probably knew who he was, so he was so polite. After a few words, the three of them left. Cocktail parties are a good place to make connections. This time it was the official opening cocktail party after the trial operation. The host did a good job with a good background and connections, so the people who came were all successful people. Have those girls come? After chatting with a few more people, Zhao Jixi was already somewhat immune to the flattery of these Korean guys. This cocktail party hasn't even started yet, but he felt like he had become the protagonist, and many people came to talk to him. Not yet. There are quite a few girls here. See if there are any you like. Go over and have a chat. Li Shuang said, and it hasn't officially started yet, so we are just chatting first. Zhao Jixi nodded, and his eyes began to glance at the people in the hall. The girls were all dressed up beautifully, with evening gowns and high heels setting off their graceful figures, especially the close-fitting dresses that depicted the curves of their hips. When you look at them, you can look at their hips and think in your mind what it would feel like to collide with them later. Li Jun came to Zhao Jixi with a glass of champagne in his hand. He was also pulled over to chat for a few words just now. Many people took off their clothes and introduced him to Zhao Jixi, but he couldn't agree, so he could only come over to find some topics to chat about first, and then ask his cousin later. Do you see that one over there? Which one, Jun? Zhao Jixi also asked in a low voice. The woman next to the old man, and the one next to the young man. Huh? Zhao Jixi was surprised. This woman has grown up well, and she feels more elegant than many girls at the party. Jun, do you know this girl? Li Shuang said. Kim Ti Hee, I know this woman. I know her a little, but not very well. She is the so-called #1 natural beauty in Korea. She is an actress and the president. Her father is quite rich, and she is also of good quality. She is very popular in Korea. Lee Jun also explained. Well, she has some background. If this is done, I guess everyone will know it. Forget it, I'll just find someone who is not troublesome. Zhao Jixi took a look at the woman. She looked okay, but she didn't feel like she had to be with her. In fact, he has not met the kind of woman he had to be with until now. There are billions of people in the world, and women account for half of them. Even if only a small percentage of them are beauties, it is definitely a terrifying number. Zhao Jixi, as a man who can still walk when seeing a beautiful woman, should think carefully before sleeping with a woman. Reality tells him that there are many people who are miserable because of women, and he will not repeat the same mistakes. What's there to be careful about? It's just a woman. You are good at picking up girls, why can't you pick up handsome girls? Li Shuang said disdainfully. I have never dumped a woman. I still keep in touch with her now. The first one has no contact, and I don't know who dumped who. Zhao Jixi said. Pretend. Li Shuang raised a finger. Zhao Jixi pretended to bite, and Li Shuang quickly put his finger away. You are a dog. Zhao Jixi seemed to want to teach him a lesson, and the boy quickly shut up. If I get involved with this woman, I will probably report it to the police. I still want to have more fun. Besides, I'm probably a smart man with a woman. It's a bit tiring to deal with such women. Zhao Jixi explained casually. Kim Tae-hee, who was not far away, seemed to see a few people looking at him, and smiled slightly at this sight. Zhao Jixi and others also raised their glasses to signal, and Jin Tae-hee also signaled. After a brief signal from both sides, the woman wanted to come over, but was intercepted by a man who looked a bit decent. He seemed to have something to talk to her about, and Jin Tae-hee also chatted with him. Who is this guy? How dare he intercept? Zhao Jixi asked the two people unhappily. He is a kid from Lot Group, not a core member, and his family has a good relationship with the Jin family. Li Jun explained. KO. Beat him up tonight. Zhao Jixi turned around and said to Li Shuang. Yeah, you should beat him up. Li Jun's face looked a little strange, as if he was constipated. Isn't this not good? Seeing him like this, Zhao Jixi and Li Shuang both laughed. Just kidding, Jan brother. Then they looked at him a little strangely. Jan brother, you haven't fought before. I have. The three of them socialized for a while and chatted, and several girls had already arrived at the hotel under the leadership of their agent. The agent only came with the general manager. He was still giving Li Jun a face, otherwise it would be strange for this guy to let him in. Children, don't talk to anyone when you go in later. Remember the etiquette taught by the etiquette teacher. Don't be rude. The chief economic officer said with a serious face. The most important thing is to go in and find the two gentlemen. Follow them. Not only can you get to know them, but you will also be less harassed. Do you understand? Azixi, we got it. The 9 said crisply. Tian, as the captain's representative, also said, don't worry, Azixi, we will definitely not be rude. The agent nodded with satisfaction. Well, Sonny, after you go in later, you take the children to find someone, or call the big phone. I will follow you later, but I can't be by your side all the time. After all, a fat middle-aged man is not popular. His self-deprecation made the girls laugh. There was a red carpet outside the RV, and many reporters from the economic and entertainment field came. Today, the host here has invited many well-known stars, all of whom are popular and powerful seniors in the circle. There are not many newcomers who are qualified, but for those who came, although they are not popular, their strength is self-evident. When Girls' Generation got off the car, the entertainment reporters were obviously stunned. Girls' Generation is also qualified to be invited? The reporters all had this question in their minds. But don't worry about it now. After the Black Sea incident, these girls have become a little popular this year. The sales and popularity of the recently released albums are obvious to all. Putting them in the news will probably be a good explosion point. Several girls kept smiling and walked slowly. The speed was not fast, but it would not make people feel slow. Walking at this speed can allow reporters to take a lot of photos. Before Korean artists debut, it is necessary to train their sense of camera. There are many small stars and the competition is so fierce. They need to increase their exposure and let more people know them. This is also what the company's agents have explained. Annie, do you think we will be on the economic news tomorrow? Yuna covered her mouth and said a little whimsically, is it great to be on the economic edition? Zuzan felt that Yuna didn't seem to have any idea. It was totally irrelevant. Very great. Sunny also liked to tease the youngest member of the group. Seeing that the children were still joking, the manager quickly whispered, okay, we are going to enter the door. Keep your manners and etiquette. The girls smiled and kept a good walking posture. The cocktail party in the hotel will officially start soon, and most of the guests who should come have arrived. When Zhao Jixi turned around, he saw 9 beautiful and youthful girls walking in. Many guests looked over there, but few went up to say hello. The young people didn't go up either. First, they didn't want people to know that they had an ambiguous relationship with the little star in public, which would affect their own reputation. Second, the little stars who can be invited here are mostly invited by influential people. They didn't see the situation clearly, and they wouldn't cause any unnecessary trouble for women. The third and most important thing is that today this is someone else's cocktail party, and it's a relatively important one. If you cause trouble up there, no one will look good. It is basic to save trouble and be sensible. The reason is the same as before, that is, don't cause trouble. As for those who are a bit older, they really don't like these female stars. There are plenty of girls, and there are even more beautiful girls. As for female stars, they are already past the age of playing stars. Unless you meet some weirdos, then there is really nothing to say. Li Shuang touched Zhao Jixi. Here it comes. Yeah, I saw it. Zhao Jixi looked over there and nodded with a smile. Let's go over and take a look. Let's go out for dinner tonight. What do you think of this idea? Li Shuang nodded in understanding. Haha. It's a good idea, but I have a sister-in-law now, so you can enjoy these sisters by yourself. Li Jun looked at his cousin in surprise, and Zhao Jixi was the same, but he acted quite regretful. You really want to be a good man? Great. That's awesome to say. I support you, and I wish you all the best. Go away. I've seen a lot of women before. There's no one who's in a relationship. Now that I've met one, I'll talk as long as I can. If I'm lucky, I can live like this for the rest of my life, and that's not a bad thing. Chapter 571 Oppa is a normal man. Hey, Jun Hexi, long time no see. Zhao Jixi was just about to go over when an old friend of Li Jun came over to say hello. Li Jun also greeted people. Zhao Jixi politely said goodbye to him and walked towards the girls with Li Shuang. Sunny, Quan Yuri, Yuna and other girls also saw them. She wanted to shout, but soon realized that this situation seemed too rude, so she quickly shut up and waved to the two of them. The petite Sunny put on high heels that looked like sky-high heels, and the overall look became much slimmer. 155 centimeters tall is about a little over 1.7 meters, so it doesn't look too strange to stand next to Zhao Jixi. Just to see Zhao Jixi, she spent a lot of money and bought this pair of new European brand high heels. The price of nearly 10 million won made her feel distressed for a long time. But wearing shoes and walking among the sisters, she, who is usually the shortest, can now be ranked third from the bottom. The team leader Tian was not well prepared, and today she looked a little shorter than her. Seeing Captain Xiaogi, who usually always talked about the height difference in centimeters, was now shorter than her, which felt really good. Although she felt sorry for the money spent on shoes, she thought it was really worth it. Zhao Jixi walked over with a smile, opened his arms, and gave Sunny a hug. The little girl's eyes narrowed into crescents. She put her arms around his back and said under his ears, Oppa, you look so handsome today. Zhao Jixi let her go, with his hands still on her shoulders, and looked her up and down. Sunny looks much more beautiful today, not like a little girl at all. Haha. As he said that, he wanted to touch her hair, but fortunately Sunny was alert and immediately moved her head away. The girl pouted and said to him, Oppa, I just spent several hours doing my hair. He paused with his hand in the air. Girl, be good. I won't rub your hair. Zhao Jixi turned around and said to Li Shuang with a smile, is this what it means? If your head can break, but your hairstyle can't be messed up? Haha. Sunny pulled Li Shuang's arm, pointed at Zhao Jixi and said coquettishly, "Shuang oppa, Jixi oppa is so bad." Li Shuang nodded in understanding. Indeed, this kid is not a good person. He also got his hairstyle done, and he doesn't allow me to touch it. After Zhao Jixi greeted Sunny, he looked at Quan Yuri. The girl looked very feminine in her evening dress and vertical hair. "Yuri, you are getting more and more beautiful." Quan Yuri hesitated and smiled a little embarrassedly. "Oppa, you are really good at praising people. Beautiful is beautiful. I won't say that casually." Zhao Jixi also gave her a hug and then looked at the girls who were not very familiar with him and glanced at them. Just then, he saw Yuna in the crowd. "Yuna, why didn't you say hello to me?" The girl's face was a little flushed. She sighed for a while, and under the gazes of several people, she said, "My dress seems to have been caught." "Ah, what's going on? Let me see." The girls asked with concern. Zhao Jixi saw Yuna grabbing the right side of her thigh. Her hand was grabbing there, and the tender white thigh flesh might have been caught by the slit, which made the dress, which was already opened a little high to the thigh, open to the thigh near the base. The girl was pinching it with her hand, and if she let go, she would probably see her panties. However, this kind of dress today doesn't seem to be suitable for wearing panties. Zhao Jixi guessed that the girls might be wearing thongs, so that the stripes of the panties would not be visible on the buttocks. "Ah, it's opened like this," Tien exclaimed in a low voice. Yuna's eyes were a little red, and her voice was a little panicked and lost. "Yeah. What should I do later? How about changing? We don't have any extra clothes to bring, and we won't be able to make it in time if we go back. What should we do then?" "Hoo-hoo. I don't know." Several girls also discussed it in a panic. Zhao Jixi and Li Shuang looked at each other. They didn't expect to encounter such a thing when they met. He thought about it and suddenly had an idea and said to them, "I have a way." "Ah, Oppa, tell me." Because Sunny is more familiar with him, she is mostly the representative of everyone at this time. "Wait a minute." Zhao Jixi stopped her request first and looked at Yuna with his eyes and found that he was cracked, but there was no other problem. "Yuna, come here. Oppa will tell you something." "What are you talking about?" mysteriously. Tiffany looked at Zhao Jixi and Yuna whispering over there and whispered to Tien. "I don't know either." Zhao Jixi said to Yuna and then said to Li Shuang, "Shuang, you go take care of them first. I'll take Yuna to deal with the clothes problem." Then he told Sunny and Yuri that he would be back soon, and now he would take Yuna to deal with it. Seeing that he was mysterious, the two didn't know how he would deal with it. Zhao Jixi first said a few words to the waiter, and then took Yuna upstairs, and then went into a room with Yuna. The girl followed a man into the room, feeling a little nervous. Although she knew that nothing could happen, she always felt a little strange, as if she was going to get a room with a boy, and she felt a little panicked. Although she had a good impression of this man, this matter was still very strange. "Yuna, sit down first. I guess the waiter will be here soon." Zhao Jixi turned around and said to Yuna, and then looked out the door. Yuna responded in a low voice, "Oh, got it." Oppa. Then the waiter really came, holding a line box and some accessories and wires in his hand. Zhao Jixi gave the kid a little tip, and after thanking him, he immediately walked away. "Oppa, have you found the sewing box?" Yuna said happily. "Well, the waiter has brought it. I'll help you see which thread is suitable for you, or we can add an accessory to it." Zhao Jixi came in and selected the thread, and then his eyes lit up and a smile spread across his face. "Great, I found it. This color goes well with your dress." Yuna also leaned over to take a look, and it was indeed a good match for her dress. She couldn't help but feel relieved. "It's great that it can be solved, Oppa. Thank you so much." Zhao Jixi turned around and saw that beautiful face, which was only a little distance away from him, and the two could almost smell each other's breath. Yuna was a little panicked, and her face turned red at a visible speed. Zhao Jixi also felt that the atmosphere was a bit strange. "Well, sew it quickly. Sew it on the back of the dress that fits the body, using a needle method that cannot be seen from the outside. Sew it about this long, and you can see this piece is a designer's highlight. Outsiders can't tell that it was patched up because it was torn." Zhao Jixi said this and gestured, explaining the distance and length to the girl. Yuna's face was flushed, but she was listening intently at this moment. But from the looks of it, it seemed that she was watching Zhao Jixi intently. Yuna, what's wrong? I'll wait for you outside. Sew it now. Yuna closed the sewing box, but her eyes did not leave Zhao Jixi. Instead, she looked at him a little embarrassedly, wanting to say something, but not knowing how to start. Okay, don't be embarrassed. Oppa is going out now. You hurry up and get it done. The cocktail party outside is waiting for you. Zhao Jixi said this in a gentle tone of an older brother, which seemed mature and very attractive, especially to the little girl. Oppa will introduce a few people to you later, which will be of great help to your future acting career. I heard that you participated in a TV performance again, and now you are also an actor. Yuna still looked at him a little embarrassed, but didn't say anything. She was anxious and her face was getting redder and redder. Although Zhao Jixi's words were very warm, her eyes were red, and she felt like she was about to burst into tears. Zhao Jixi looked at the girl a little nervously. What's wrong with you? Yuna, are you wronged? Can you tell me? The girl still didn't speak. Zhao Jixi was also scratching his head a little. It seemed that he didn't do anything to let her down. Could it be? He had a little idea in his mind. He just took a peek at the colored thong, and now the girl felt that he took advantage of her. Then she got angry, but it was hard to say it directly, for fear of offending him. So she just held it in. Suddenly, he was a little worried, and a little jumpy. He didn't want to be a bully. Was he going to threaten the girl, or ignore her, as if it had never happened? Forget it. Zhao Jixi was not that kind of person. Since he wanted to be romantic, but didn't want to be vulgar, he should just admit his mistake honestly. That Yuna, Oppa really didn't mean it. You know, Oppa is a normal man, right? Sometimes he would react like a normal man. Don't be sad or angry. If you don't feel relieved, why don't you beat me up a few times? Maybe you will feel much better. Yuna was a little confused. What happened to Oppa? She just didn't know how to tell him that she couldn't sew clothes, and what Oppa said about the inner needle method, but she didn't know how to tell him. If she told him, would Oppa think that she was not a good woman? If she couldn't even sew clothes, he would probably be disappointed in her. How could the little tricks in her mind come true? But seeing that Zhao Jixi was getting weirder and more panicked, she slowly figured out what he was talking about, and her face became even redder. Chapter 572. Take it off. Yuna's face was getting redder and redder. Listening to Zhao Jixi's apology, she felt even more confused. Oppa is a normal man, but he still peeked at me. Doesn't that prove that I have the charm to attract him? But she thought it was a bit wrong. Yuna, my god, are you going to be a bad woman? How can you think so shamelessly? Yuna, you are a girl. Yuna was thinking about it and didn't say anything. Zhao Jixi explained a lot from a male perspective, starting from physiology, psychological activities and other aspects. He justified his peeping, intending to blur out this embarrassing scene. Yuna, why don't you say anything? Did Oppa hurt your heart? My image as a decent Oppa has been ruined. Seeing Jay Chow's look, Yuna blushed and said quickly, no, Oppa is still the good Oppa. Your image is not ruined at all. Yuna looked at Jay Chow and said, and then in a little voice, with a girl's shyness, I don't mean to blame Oppa. Jay Chow looked at the girl in surprise. Then why don't you say anything? And you have that expression. I just want to say that I can't sew clothes, and I'm afraid Oppa will say that I'm not a good woman, so I don't know how to speak. She looked like a shy little girl, with tangled fingers and a red face. She has never looked down since she entered the room with Jay Chow. The girl's voice was very soft. If Jay Chow hadn't had sharp senses, he really wouldn't have heard her voice. He was embarrassed in his heart. When did he lose his temper? Why did he blurt out this matter? Oh my god, I told a girl that I just peeked at her underwear. It really wasn't intentional. It was just my male instinctive reaction. Zhao Jixi now feels like finding a crack to crawl into. Yuna, it's okay. I won't blame Oppa. The girl lowered her head and whispered. Her face was very red, and the blush also penetrated the collarbone. Oh my god, am I a bad woman? I was seen by others, and I still acted like this, but Oppa really didn't mean it. I should forgive him. This sentence blocked what Zhao Jixi wanted to say, and he suddenly realized that this girl was not bad. The atmosphere was still a little awkward. Zhao Jixi didn't know what to say. Yuna spoke up, looking a little shy. She looked at Zhao Jixi shyly. Oppa, what should I do if I can't sew clothes? Zhao Jixi blurted out without thinking. It's okay, I can do it. Zhao Jixi really knows how to sew clothes. There are so many women in the family. When he was a child, he played with those cheap Barbie dolls. The sisters all liked to make clothes for those dolls, and of course he was no exception. So he slowly learned how to sew clothes. In addition, he had a good relationship with the fourth sister. Her childhood dream was to be a designer. She had read a lot of such books. When the third sister was not interested, she liked to communicate with Zhao Jixi. So Zhao Jixi also learned a lot of needlework. It was a piece of cake to sew some holes and edges. After learning this, sometimes his clothes were torn by himself. It's just that, when I grew up, I felt that this thing was really not something a man should do, so I didn't touch it. Yuna also looked surprised. Oppa, can you really sew clothes? I have an older sister who is a designer. Her dream when she was a child was to become a designer. At that time, I was very close to her, and we often played together. So under her influence, I also learned a little design, and these basic sewing are also basic. Zhao Jixi certainly couldn't tell the girl that he also liked to play with dolls when he was a child. A grown man said that and did that kind of thing. Even if it was a childhood thing, it really felt a bit embarrassing. Yuna looked at Zhao Jixi with admiration. Wow. Oppa is so amazing. No big deal. I only know a little bit. Zhao Jixi said modestly. Okay, take off your clothes quickly. I'll help you sew. As he said that, he opened the sewing box and took out the needle and thread. Yuna was completely a bit ridiculous. Oppa just asked her to take off her clothes. Isn't this too much? She was only wearing underwear inside, and her lower body was still in a thong. Her mind was in a mess, and she didn't dare to look at Zhao Jixi. Her hand slowly reached for the zipper on her back. She didn't know whether to take it off or not. After Zhao Jixi finished threading the needle, he looked at the girl who was still there, doing something with her hands behind her back. He couldn't help but frowned. Yuna, why are you still sitting here? Go change your clothes. The bathroom is over there. You go wrap yourself in a bath towel first, and I'll be done soon. This time, Yuna's face flushed again. She hurriedly stood up, not caring about the exposed thighs. She immediately ran towards the bathroom and said, I'll change right away. After entering the bathroom, she immediately closed the door, leaned against the bathroom door, and stroked her red and hot cheeks with her hands. Are you so embarrassed? Yuna, you are really a pervert. It's easy to have wild thoughts when you see Oppa, and you even want to do something crazy. You are a girl. The girls in a panic and shyness were all revealed at this moment. Yuna, are you ready? Zhao Jixi urged from outside. Okay, I'll be ready soon, the girl said, and then she pulled down the zipper on her back in front of the mirror. The light-colored underwear wrapped the pair of small and exquisite white rabbits. As the girl moved, they rose and fell and jumped. Bending down, she took off her clothes, revealing her belly without any fat. The thin straps were sandwiched in the gap between her round and perky buttocks, and her slender legs were exposed to the air, and the girl's beautiful side, that attracted men, was completely revealed. Unfortunately, before her love was exposed for a while, the girl took a bath towel and wrapped herself up. The pair of white rabbits were still standing upright, and the bath towel that was not wiped evenly was also very attractive on her. Yuna quickly opened the door a little. Oppa, I'm done. Zhao Jixi took the clothes from the door and took advantage of the time gap to see the girl's big white legs. Well, I'll help you sew now. Whatever you want to drink, it's in the small refrigerator over there, Zhao Jixi said, and then he took the clothes and put them on the bed. He took out a hanger from the closet, put the clothes on it, and hung it on the hanger. Then he began to find the same position as before and increased the distance of the seam. Then he started to sew, stitch by stitch. The girl originally thought it was a bit strange to wear this with a man, but she saw that Zhao Jixi didn't look embarrassed at all. She felt that she was overthinking, and not as calm as Oppa. Wrapped in a white bath towel, she didn't think much about it and walked out. At a glance, she saw Zhao Jixi sewing seriously. A tall and strong man, now holding a thin needle, to mend a woman's dress. That serious and meticulous look seemed even more charming than usual. Yuna suddenly felt that she was captured, not by his billions of dollars, not by his tall and strong handsomeness, but by the sight of him carefully sewing clothes for a woman. She felt that this moment was her happiest. Looking at Zhao Jixi with burning eyes, she walked over unconsciously. Zhao Jixi sewed for a while, sewed the last stitch, cut the thread, and made the final finishing touches. He nodded with satisfaction. Finally finished, the craftsmanship is still there. He looked happy, as if he had completed a beautiful work of art. Ah! Zhao Jixi turned around and startled the girl. The child was standing not far from him. He took a few steps back and almost bumped into Yuna when he turned around. Yuna. Ah! She was also startled, and her body jumped habitually. Suddenly, the bath towel on Bizet's body fell off, and the picture of the beauty just now was completely displayed in front of him. Especially when he was looking down from above, he couldn't bear to move his eyes to the pair of elastic white rabbits. But Yuna called out, and he closed his eyes. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. He began to mutter. Yuna recovered from her daze. Zhao Jixi closed his eyes, and she quickly squatted down, picked up the bath towel, and wrapped it around her body. I didn't see anything. Oppa. Yuna blushed and called out. Today she felt really unlucky. She had accidents in front of Jixi Oppa several times in a row, but she felt a little lucky. It was because of these accidents that she and Zhao Jixi became closer and closer. Okay, I'm going to the bathroom. You change your clothes quickly. We'll go out to the cocktail party, Zhao Jixi said, and walked towards the bathroom. On the way, because he closed his eyes, he bumped into something and almost fell. Yuna laughed secretly from behind. This Jixi Oppa looked so cute. Zhao Jixi changed his appearance when he entered the bathroom. He was completely different from the panicked man just now. After closing the door, he turned on the faucet and looked at himself in the mirror with a smile on his face. Isn't it a bit too much? Isn't it a bit fake to pretend to be a pure man? He started the role-playing game in front of the mirror. It should be okay. It seems that this little girl likes this style. Yuna is really a very charming girl. He stretched out his hand and began to adjust his hair. His hair was a bit long. Compared with the previous super short hair, it was indeed a lot more troublesome. Chapter 573, Acquaintance. Have you changed your clothes, Yuna? Yes, it's done. When he walked out, Yuna had already changed, but the zipper on the back was not fully zipped up, and it got stuck at the back chest strap. Seeing the white and tender back, Zhao Jixi had evil thoughts again. Oppa, come and help me zip it up. I can't reach it. Zhao Jixi walked over with a calm face. Yes. Okay. After taking a closer look, he found that the zipper was stuck on the chest strap. As he said that, his hand reached for the opening. Don't move. It's stuck in. I'll help you get it out first. When his hand touched the white and tender skin, he felt it was very smooth instantly. After grabbing the chest strap and zipper for a while, Zhao Jixi originally wanted to tease the girl and make a joke with her, saying that he wanted to untie the strap. Later, he thought that it would be a bit fake. He just saw that sexy scene, and it would be a bit inappropriate to do it like this, so he gave up. After fiddling with it for a while, he finished it. The atmosphere, which had just been a little relaxed, became a little ambiguous. Finished. After zipping up the girl's back, the skin under the lace was still attractive. Thank you, Oppa. Yuna's face was still red. Anyway, she had never blushed since she entered this room. Zhao Jixi patted her shoulders twice. You're welcome. You call me Oppa. These are all small things. Zhao Jixi walked towards the venue with a dignified and beautiful girl. At this moment, he seemed to be able to think of the little white rabbit standing upright with a bra, with only a thin thread wrapped in the perky buttocks, and the faintly visible black silk hair and the flower thong with many dark patterns in front. He was also quite uncomfortable walking on the road. His physiological reaction came up, and his pants were erected into a small tent. His hips were slightly back, so that they would not be so conspicuous. Emptiness is color, color is emptiness. He kept muttering, but his brother was still standing. Oppa, do you have a stomachache? Yuna looked at Zhao Jixi strangely as he took 2 steps, and then wanted to take a step back. Slightly bending over with a frown on his face, she asked with concern. Yes, a little. Zhao Jixi had to say awkwardly. The opening reception had already begun. The hosts of the reception walked around in various circles to greet guests and chat with the guests from time to time. Those who could come were people they knew or had a relationship with them. Greeting the guests was their main job today. When Zhao Jixi walked out, two of them happened to run to Li Shuang and Li Jun. Several girls were surrounded by champagne, and the two introduced people to them. The two were also very considerate, or they had also seen these female stars. Jun, why don't you see Mr. Zhao? One of them was a little impatient and asked Li Jun first. Of course, this was also related to his good relationship with Li Jun. He promised to introduce this director of the Apple board of directors to him, but when he came, Zhao Jixi was gone. Li Shuang saw that there were quite a few people around, so of course he couldn't say anything casually, as the two of them were very familiar with each other. He glanced at the girl and then at the man. Instantly, the man looked as if he understood, and a smile that everyone understood appeared on his face. He also studied abroad in the West and knew a lot about parties and cocktail parties. The Americans like to find some exciting and fun things on these shows. Zhao Jixi walked from behind them and said, "Brother Jun, what are you laughing at? You look so happy. How about sharing it with me?" Everyone looked outside the circle. Zhao Jixi walked to their side with Yuna, but the girl saw so many people looking at her, so she immediately let go of her hand and walked to the side of her sisters. Sunny and Yuri stared at the hands that were linked together and suddenly felt a little resentful in their hearts. They didn't walk together with Zhao Jixi in front of so many people. "Yuna, is the dress ready? Let me see." Tien asked Yuna. Yes, let's take a look." Everyone took a look and found that it was a little different from the previous one, but it also looked very bright. It didn't feel glaring. Wow, this is not bad. The technique is very good. The girls touched the dress and exclaimed, "This is a must." If it weren't for the good craftsmanship of the tailor, how could such a bright dress be mended? It is simply a work full of emotion. Yuna praised the tailor as much as she could, but she didn't tell them who he was. Li Jun smiled enthusiastically. "Haha, we are just talking about you. As for what to talk about, I think you know." Haha. The four men laughed. The topic that men like, they really all understand it. Zhao Jixi shrugged helplessly and said, "Although things are not as you think, it's almost the same." What he meant by what he said was to occupy the hilltop first, and everyone understood what he meant. "Jess, let me introduce you. This is Park Jung-si and this is his cousin Park Ji-hee. They are both my good friends." Then he said to the two of them, "This is Jay Chou." Park Jung-si hurriedly said seriously, "I know, we have heard of Jay Chou's name for a long time. Hello, I'm Park Jung-si. I'm Park Ji-hee." Both of them bowed and greeted. "You two are too polite. We are all friends. You are older than me. It's really too polite." Jay Chou followed the local customs and bowed to greet them. Every region has its own customs. Only by learning to respect and accept them can you get respect and acceptance from others. Jay Chou, who has been in the upper class of the United States for a while, is not as angry as before. Conditional compromise is the mainstream of life. If you want to live well, you must first learn to compromise. Compromise with the social system and compromise with laws and regulations is to ensure that everyone will abide by the rules of the game. Not standing on the opposite side of the majority is the mainstream thought. When some people don't like to compromise with these things, you can ensure that most people can stand on your side, and you can also stand on the moral high ground, doing things that make others unhappy, but make yourself happy. "Everyone can call me Jess. I like people calling me by my name." Everyone agreed. It is indeed a good feeling to have many people flattering you. Zhao Jixi enjoys being the focus of everyone. "I heard from the media that Jess is studying at Stanford?" Park Jung-si asked Zhao Jixi with a smile. "Is Jung-si also?" "Yes, I'm ashamed to say that I just graduated from Stanford a few years ago." Zhao Jixi suddenly stretched out his hand to shake hands with him again, but said in his mouth, "So you are still senior. We are really destined to be together." But as the two let go of their hands, everyone suddenly felt that they seemed to be a little closer. "It seems that we are really destined to be together. You know, it is not easy for people who are not American to join the club. It seems that Jung-si brother, you are a top student at Stanford." Zhao Jixi said with a little admiration. This is indeed my luck. Park Ji-hee felt even luckier. He didn't expect to meet someone who would definitely become a well-known alumnus of Stanford in the future, and this person was also a member of the Shriners. After Zhao Jixi graduated, he joined the International Shriners. He was almost one of the most influential people in the Shriners. The time of fraternity members is almost a lifetime thing. Sometimes they will let their children and grandchildren join the fraternity of their parents. This is a kind of implicit interest alliance. There is no binding force, but its existence does allow many people to get some benefits. Just like the most basic, if Zhao Jixi's company recruits employees, then the first choice will definitely be his alma mater Stanford. Of course, this is also closely related to the fact that it is a famous school and the students are of high quality. When employees in the company are promoted, under the same conditions, he will also give priority to former fraternity members. What are you talking about? What kind of club? What kind of academic bully? Li Jun looked at the two with some doubts. Zhao Jixi patted his shoulder and said, you will know if you go to the United States for further studies. Li Shuang looked at him with amusement and said disdainfully, it's just a fraternity. Why is it so secretive? No, this matter really needs to be kept secret. Society is different from school. It's better not to publicize my identity as a fraternity casually. It will definitely not be a good reputation if it is said. Why? Park Jung-si explained. After all, having this identity means that in the future, under the same circumstances, some people will suffer. This will only benefit the minority. Others will say a few words about you, which is definitely light. It is normal to scold you. This is very normal in the United States. Although you have this identity, you still don't publicize it casually. Otherwise, why do you have to make secret hand gestures? After listening to his explanation, several men understood. Okay, let's not talk about this. Jess, the plan I told you about is also involved by these two people. The plan will probably be made tonight. We will have a good chat at that time. Li Shuang said. Park Ji-hee smiled bitterly. We have recently put a lot of funds in the hotel. I don't think you can get a share of the big cake. Go, you still want a big cake? If I had enough money, I would have eaten it all by myself. Li Jun said. Eating alone is not a good habit. Li Shuang made a joke about his cousin. The happy and smiling chat of several people really attracted the attention of many people. Especially there were several big figures there, TV station directors, children of big families, and directors of well-known companies. It was definitely a good thing for many people to get to know one of them. Look at this time, even the owner of the hotel went up to entertain him directly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 574, Poaching People and Talents. As the captain, Tian is not very close to Li Shuang, Zhao Jixi and others, and she doesn't know them. So when several people were talking, she didn't interrupt them. Although Sunny and Yuri had just introduced the girls, she also introduced the two of them to the girls, and everyone was considered to be acquainted. But the closeness of the relationship is still very obvious. Sunny is the daughter of her mother and godmother's good friend. When the two chat with people, they mostly introduce her. When joking, they also ask people to take care of the girls. As long as they take care of who is more obvious, it is obvious. The three girls, Yuna and Yuri, are holding two men. Sunny originally wanted to hold Zhao Jixi's arm, but unfortunately the other two girls are not very familiar with Li Shuang. As a sister, she gave way to them. The two girls held Zhao Jixi's arm and met many people who came up to get close to him. Businessmen look at the long term, and Zhao Jixi may not have any dealings with their company, but his identity as another investor is also one of the main reasons. Everyone needs to attract investment sometimes. Now that they are familiar with each other, they will need to attract investment from outside in the future. It is also a matter of face. However, if they cannot pass the evaluation, then Jay Chou can only say goodbye. Annie, isn't that the one who scolded producer Lin on TV last time? Zuzan whispered to Tian next to her. She had a deep impression of this person. At that time, the producer scolded them like dead dogs and didn't treat them as girls at all. It happened that this person came to find the producer, and it seemed that because of something, he scolded the producer like a dead dog, let them escape from the disaster, and don't have to face the producer with saliva flying all over the sky. Director Park's hotel business is really enviable. The man was a little stereotyped, but the envy was still visible. Haha. President Han is polite. Park Jung-si replied politely. The man responded to Park Jung-si and said to Jay Chow, "Is this Mr. Zhou? It's my honor to meet you in person. It's a good idea to not hit a smiling person." Zhou Jixi felt a little annoyed with this kind of person. A little disgust flashed in the corner of his eyes, but the expression on his face, after turning around, did not show any impatience. "You're welcome, Jung-si brother. Who is this gentleman?" "This is President Han of the production company here in Seoul," Park Jung-si introduced. "Oh, production company. That should be related to Sunny and the others." His expression relaxed a little. "President Han, hello. Nice to meet you. I'm very grateful for the production." Yuri knew this man. Although he didn't mean to help them last time, girls would still remember him for a little favor. "Oppa, this President Han, last time." She told Zhou Jixi the story, which made him look at President Han in a better light. President Han has pretty good ears, and the girl didn't speak very softly, so when he listened carefully, he could actually hear that he had done a good thing and indirectly helped these female singers whom he had never taken seriously before. "President Han, I didn't expect you to take care of my sisters." Thank you, Zhou Jixi said enthusiastically, extending his hand to shake hands with him. Coincidence. I didn't expect that. You are so polite." President Han looked modest and didn't dare to take credit for it. The girls were a little touched by Zhou Jixi's behavior. Although it might not be them who were being talked about, the words just now mentioned sisters. Does this mean that he treated them all as his sisters? When people have a good sense of light towards someone, it will be much easier to chat with them. Under his advocacy, Zhou Jixi and the others had a good chat with President Han. Before leaving, they gave him their business cards. You should know that Zhou Jixi sent out no more than 10 business cards tonight, and many of them were from Li Shuang's friends and the friends of the other 3 people. This person was really lucky to get this one. Of course, this person was secretly happy, and many people who were familiar with him came up to chat with him. After the cocktail party, Zhou Jixi and others sent the girls back first. When they arrived not far from the downstairs of the dormitory arranged for them by SM, Li Shuang asked the driver to stop the car. "What's wrong? Aren't you here yet?" Zhou Jixi asked curiously. Li Shuang said with a smile, "You know the location very well." "Oh." The girls all made sounds of understanding, obviously cooperating with Li Shuang's words, but a few of them were silent, as if this matter was about them. Seeing the girls' eyes, Zhou Jixi quickly explained, "Of course, I came here when I sent them back last time. I'm not a directionally challenged person, how could I forget it like this?" "Okay, you have a good memory, okay." Li Shuang said, "They may have fans downstairs, which are more powerful than the paparazzi in the United States. We'd better leave here. Otherwise, they will have a scandal, and will they be allowed to continue their activities? After all, he is in the circle, and he is very clear about some things." "Is that so?" Zhou Jixi turned around and asked the girls. "Well, there are fans guarding there every day, and sometimes they will follow us all the time." Sunny said affirmatively. "Isn't this perverted?" Zhou Jixi said bitterly. "Why do I feel a little dangerous in front of this star? That's not so bad. At least we won't encounter anti-people with violent tendencies. That's bad luck. Like an artist poisoned an anti-personnel, and he can't sue that person, even after he goes to the hospital. Otherwise he won't be able to stay in that circle in the future." Yuri blurted out everything, and Sunny couldn't stop her, even if she wanted to. "Oh my god, there are all kinds of situations. This job is so dangerous. Sunny, Yuri, I think you guys should not do it. The effort and reward are too disproportionate, and there is even a risk to your life, and you can't use the law to protect your rights." Zhou Jixi's reaction was exactly the same as Sunny's. The girls immediately looked at him with hateful eyes, and Zhou Jixi no longer thought about this. "Let me tell you, I originally thought that being a star To satisfy the girl's fantasies was a very good thing, but there are actually horrifying things. This is completely different from what I encountered in the United States. I think you guys should not do it. Look, you've been in the limelight now. You've had a lot of fans. You've also been admired on and off the stage. It's about time you stepped down now. The girls were about to speak, but Zhou stopped them and said, "Listen to me first." Tian was furious at the man who was poaching people in front of her. The other girls were the same, but they didn't dare to offend the two of them. In addition, this matter was a bit like a family matter, and it was not suitable for people to interrupt. Li Shuang thought it was not good to say this in front of so many people. The people in their team are still there, and you are poaching them in front of them. Jess, let's talk about this alone next time. Stop, let's talk about it now. Let me express my opinion first. Zhao Jixi waved his hand to Li Shuang and then said to the girls, "I will go back to your company and tell your boss that this thing can still be done. It's too unsafe. It's so dangerous to make a little money, so depressing. Oppa." Don't say anything first. Zhao Jixi interrupted Sunny. "I have no idea how much a popular star can earn, but judging from the money-making ability of female singers in the United States, more than $10 million a year is already a high income among the top 10. However, I think you can imagine the market in Korea, plus other Asian countries. Your annual net income is $5 million, which is equivalent to more than 5 billion won in Korea. This is a level that Jun Ji-hyun, who has the strongest ability to attract money in Korea, can achieve. Boa's 20 billion is a bit high for you." Zhou recently looked at the income of Korean stars released by Forbes and analyzed it for them. "Your company's commission is quite ruthless. I will calculate it according to the better method, 30% and 70%, giving you more than $1.5 million, which is divided among the 9 of you, including the difference between advertising and personal income. According to the better method, each person gets one share $150,000, about 150 million won. This is very hard work, but it is not as much as I, a bodyguard, earn. I can earn more than that as a security consultant. Do you think it is worth it?" Zhou asked. "Perhaps you will say that it will increase in the future. If we give each of you 10 times, it will only be 1.5 billion won, which is more than $1 million. The total income will be more than 50 billion won. Do you think this is possible?" Tian wanted to say that this was almost enough. An income of 100 million won a year was actually a very good income. Although it is a bit hard now, as long as you work for a few years, you will be able to live a good life in the future. She thought so, but it did not mean that everyone would think so. The other girls with dual nationality did not think so, and felt a little unbalanced. Yuri felt that what she said was a bit bad. You can only earn more than $10 million after working so hard. It is absolutely impossible in 1 year. Giving you a few million may be a bit high. After squandering your youth, you can probably only buy a nice apartment in Seoul. She continued to say earnestly, but Tian felt that these words were like mocking them. "So, I'm going to create a game peripheral brand recently. You should know Angry Birds." Chapter 675. Each has his own thoughts. Zhou has a strong aura. Although some girls are not happy with him, they still nod their heads. "My think tank has come up with a plan recently. They think that we should make a separate brand of bird according to brands like Mamoru and Astro Boy. We can make clothes, pants, underwear, pajamas, children's clothing, men's clothing, etc. There is no need to worry about publicity. We have players all over the world. We will launch a series of games in the future, and we will also publish comics, make animations, and make movies. My company has accepted Disney's conditions. The shooting of the animated film has started. Other peripheral authorizations and brand images can also be spread all over the world. With the help of this trend, the image of bird can be promoted with the characteristics of youth, cuteness, fashion, and strength. I believe it will be no problem to share a piece of cake in this market." Zhou looked at them and smiled. "I think you are doing Korea. Being one of the distributors here, you will definitely earn more than any star you are, and you are also the president." Sunny was a little stunned when she heard this. What is the rhythm? It's not on the same line at all. She didn't know what was going on, so she said, but we don't know how to do business. This caused several girls to worry. It's not that simple. I don't know how to do it either, but the business is still going well. It doesn't matter if I don't know how to do it myself. Just find someone who knows how to do it to work for me. Zhou said, that's not a reason. For the Korean market, I will help you open stores in Seoul, one in each of the important areas, and you can consider franchise stores for other stores. If you expand the business slowly in the future, it's possible to earn tens of millions of dollars every year. It's easy and fun to make money, isn't it? Much better than being a star and rushing to make announcements. Zhou didn't want to come to this small market in Korea, but when he thought of several girls, he thought it would be a good thing for them to do it. With the bombardment of games, animations, movies, etc., it's not a problem for him to make Angry Birds. Several girls looked a little hesitant, and some were worried that their sisters would be tempted by this hateful man and quit the group to open a clothing store or become a distributor. I believe that the company's liquidated damages are nothing to this man. Sunny was in a dilemma, Yuri was the same, and Yuna was thinking whether she had a role in this matter. The other girls were very cautious, thinking that Zhou was so hateful, but they also felt that it was okay. After all, he didn't tell them secretly behind their backs, and they didn't know that the girls suddenly withdrew. However, they thought of their seniors in the company, the impassive TVXQ, who also became enemies because of separation, and Society of Jesus, who was also from China, withdrew from the group and made everyone fall out. Will they become like that in the future? Sia Hyun was the youngest, and tears were rolling in her eyes. Zhou looked at the various people in the car and found the bad taste in front of him funny. He laughed twice and said, okay, don't look at me like that. My promise is valid for all of you. I don't want to be a villain and destroy the relationship between you sisters. Ah, Oppa, do you mean we can all be together? Sunny said with a look of surprise. There is also a role for us? Jessica also looked strange. And us? Hyoin. It seems to be true. We are really included? Tiffany. What is this person thinking? We are also included? Tien looked doubtful. She is not a woman who can be defeated by sugar-coated bullets. Oh, she is still a girl now. The money I earned in the past 2 years, plus the money deposited with my mother, some bonuses, and the advertising share of the new contract that is due. Zhu, this child, has already started counting on her fingers to calculate how much money she has. Seeing the money making, she immediately turned into a little money grubber. Yes, I promise. Anyway, there are many stores here, and I can take care of you little girls. Zhao Jixi said to the girls generously, and he felt so happy in his heart. Doesn't he feel like a local tyrant? Jess, this money is so easy to make. Why didn't you think of me? Someone's voice sounded faintly behind Zhao Jixi. Zhao Jixi almost forgot about the other man in the car. Really not. Zhao Jixi said. I'll strangle you, you who forget your loyalty for the sake of beauty, AIZ. Li Shuang pinched Zhao Jixi's neck and said with an unhappy face. I was thinking of getting you to do the project, AIZ. You, didn't you say that you didn't have enough money to find me? Ahem. The girls returned to the dormitory with a worried look on their faces. The people from S&M companies who were guarding the door reported the number of people present to the agents, which made the agents who stayed at home feel much more at ease. As for the general agent, he was a little drunk and was still sleeping in the hotel. Zhao Jixi asked Park Junx's brother Park Ji-hee to take care of this gentleman, and he took him to the box to drink a lot of wine, and he fell directly in the hotel. Fortunately, this person was very responsible and called his subordinates, saying that he encountered a wine that he really couldn't refuse, so he asked them to pay good attention to the children. Everyone also expressed understanding. When a person of high status or a senior in Korea invites you to drink, you really can't refuse sometimes. Besides, he doesn't mean to refuse, and he just goes there happily. After all, he is Sunny's old friend, so nothing disgusting will happen. When the girls got to the dormitory, they sat on the sofa and suddenly stopped talking. They all had some ideas in their minds, but they didn't know how to say them. Being a star is to make money, and of course it feels good to be sought after by everyone. However, in the Korean entertainment industry, the more tired you are, the more money you can make. Otherwise, the salary of a white-collar worker is already good. Announcements, constant announcements, almost every day. When you get up, you have to run announcements. Sleep later than dogs, and get up earlier than chickens. Sometimes the chickens are up, but they haven't slept yet. Not to mention the hard work, plus the elimination rate of Korean idols is very high. They don't know how many years they can be popular. Those seniors in the groups that were so popular in the past or retired in the end. Those who can continue to work in the industry have mostly changed their jobs, and they have to be seniors who were very popular in the past, so that they have the opportunity to make a name for themselves in another industry. But there are indeed very few successful people. Don't look at Zhou Zion's usual uprightness. This girl is not like her sisters now. She has already started to think about when she can open a store. When the time comes, she can wear the clothes in her own store. That feeling is really too happy. She can get any style she wants. Yuna is the same. They are all smart girls. Everyone knows that being an idol is not a long-term plan. Only Jessica and Tian, the former, finally worked hard for 7 years before making her debut, and she still wants to work for a few more years. The latter thinks that she earns a lot now, and she really likes singing. As for the others, they all have some ideas, but everyone unanimously wants to keep this secret. Telling the company will not benefit anyone. If anyone really tells it, then the sisterhood in the future will probably be ruined. We can discuss what path everyone wants to take. After all, it is definitely the luckiest thing that we can make it to debut. We have survived the terrible Black Sea with our willpower. After several years of hard work, we have achieved some results now. As the captain, Tian decided to speak first. What he said is indeed very tempting. I'm also tempted. This is undeniable, but are you going to give up your dreams like this? Standing on that high stage, singing our songs, there are thousands of people cheering for us, and crazy for us below. Everyone was silent, and there were more thoughts in their hearts. Yes, our own dreams. We also have a common dream. So how can we give up like this? Although it may be a safe path for the future, the idle path I'm walking on may reach a dead end at any time. But, what Oppa said, is also very attractive. I won't ask for too much every year. More than $1 million is the best income. By then, I can buy whatever I want. This life is really great. Yuna said with a longing look. Annie, what are you talking about? Little Crystal, who came to their dormitory again, said outside the door. After all, the girls were doing something wrong, and they immediately gave little Crystal a shock. I was scared to death. The girls patted their chests and said, "Why are you here?" asked their sister Jessica. "Nothing, I just came to see you." Yuna nodded. "Oh, how long have you been here? I didn't see you just now." Little Crystal looked at these strange sisters and said, "I just got here too. What's wrong with you?" "Nothing. We were just chatting." Yuna is indeed a girl with acting skills. This time her expression was completely indifferent, and the others chose not to speak wisely. "Oh." Little Crystal nodded with a questioning look on her face. Zhao Jixi and Li Shuang drove to do something else, and now they plan to go to the karaoke room to sing. The people over there have already booked a private room, so they can just go there directly. In the car, Li Shuang held back for a while, but couldn't help but want to ask, "Jessie, why are you so generous today to start making wishes for official titles? You don't need to spend so much to pick up girls." Zhao Jixi smiled. "I knew you wouldn't be able to help asking." "You don't understand this. I really can't bear to spend money to pick up girls. Although money is a bastard, I never think it's too much. I really have some ideas about this big wish." Chapter 576, Reasons for Recruiting People. Zhao Jixi's little idea actually made Li Shuang a little interested. With the intention of reading gossip, he looked at Zhao Jixi with a questioning look on his face. Although the current girls' generation girl group is not the first, I believe they will definitely become the first girl group in the future. And the first girl group in Korea is called Wonder Girls, idols. Now they have gone to the United States to make a living. The rise of girls' generation in Korea is irreplaceable. Li Shuang was a little confused. According to what you said, they are going to be famous, and you still want to poach them. What are you thinking? No matter how popular they are, they won't make much money. I guess the only one who can make money in the future in their group is Yuna, the face of the group, and the next ones are Tian, Jessica and others. He shook his head when he said this. Yuri and Sunny, I don't think there will be much room for them in advertising. As for TV and movies, I don't think they will be the ones. How much do you think they can earn after working so hard for so long? Zhao Jixi looked at Li Shuang and said. Li Shuang nodded. He thought about it in his mind. Zhao Jixi's words made sense. He had been working in the TV station for several years. He was familiar with all these things. Let's do the math. What you said is true. Their company is notoriously stingy. They are definitely the ones who exploit artists the most among all the big companies. That's it. I'm really doing this for Sunny's own good. If she can't get a high position or a low position, it will be difficult in the future. It's better for her to hang out with me while she's still young. At least she can start working in my company, or a company that I have shares in, and take up a position. She can learn while she's working, and she won't be able to mistreat her in the future. Then, why did you think of those girls again? You seem to have promised them all just now. Li Shuang asked again. Haha. This is what I thought of, just because of the money. I just happened to think of this at that point. I must make the Angry Birds brand. The company has had this plan for a long time. I planned it when I started making the game. I'm just waiting for the game to become popular all over the world, and then I will start this brand strategy. Let's not talk about other countries for now. I just thought of South Korea. If Girls' Generation becomes the distributor of this brand, then I can save a lot of money on advertising in half of Asia. As long as they are active, my advertising will still be there. Another point, you know the nature of Koreans. It is definitely not a good choice for me to open a direct store. Finding local Koreans as distributors is different from finding Girls' Generation. I think the latter will be a better choice. With their influence in China and Japan, I can also make this brand more well known and make it a trend. Besides, it's better to keep the wealth within the group. We should also find a good guarantee for their future. After all, youth cannot be squandered forever. It will eventually run out. I don't want to see them make a fool of themselves on variety shows one day. You all know what those down and out stars look like. Their future still depends on a solid family background. Li Shuang listened and nodded in agreement. Your idea is good, but why do you want them to quit the group? It's a bit embarrassing to poach people in person. Zhao Jixi looked at him with amusement. What do you think? It's not bad for them to quit the group. Although I will lose some advertising money in the future, the temporary discussion will be why the girls quit the group. Therefore, it will become news if they quit the group to buy clothes, and it will be even clearer what clothes they sell. The idle female star changes her job to become a female businessman. The whole thing will definitely make the front page for a while, and I will still make a profit. Li Shuang swallowed his saliva, looked at him in shock and said, Jess, why didn't I see that you have such a talent for profiteering before? You can make money from everything. I really admire you. It's not making money, it's just spending a little less money, plus letting the girls get some benefits. It doesn't matter who I give it to. Of course, I give it to the one who can bring me the biggest return. Girls' Generation. Zhao Jixi's smile shows that he has a lot of plans. You kid. Let's go. Go sing quickly. Jan just said that he found 2 twin sisters who are doing paid dating. I've been very angry these days. I have to go and cool down quickly. Agoo. Brat, don't say this in front of me. Be careful that I will cheat and your sister-in-law will make trouble for you. Girls' Generation's dormitory. Because Crystal was here, they didn't talk about what happened just now, but became a little silent. Yuna and Tiffany picked up the computer and went to the American website and started searching for news about Angry Birds. You really don't know how shocking it is until you see it. Now the game has topped the list in North America, and it is ranked first in the download version. The second place is Fruit Swordsman, and the third place is Talking Tomcat. The production companies behind them are All Sky Games, which is Jay Chou's game company. The girl took out Jay Chou's business card with a little disbelief. It is different from the previous one. The titles on it have also changed a lot. There are Apple directors and Facebook directors on it, and there is also the owner and creative director of Sky Games. The production company immediately matched AIZ, so amazing. Yuna's mouth is so long that an egg can be stuffed in it. Yeah. Oh my god. Tiffany did the same, and the other girls also came over to see it when they heard the sound. Great. The top 3 games were all produced by Oppa's company. How much money must he have made with so many downloads? It's said that it seems to have earned tens of millions. This is just the download fee. There are also peripheral licenses. Economic experts say that it is definitely not less than the download fee. In addition, it has recently been launched on the Android platform. It has even been made into a web casual game on the PC platform. There are also mobile games, etc. It has really blossomed in all aspects. Tiffany's English is very good, and she translated the above words for them. It is also said on the internet that the production company is very bold. Before the game came out, it started large-scale advertising. It was also confident that it produced games for several other platforms at the beginning. Great. How much money must Oppa have made? The top 3 are all his? It's amazing. I'm so envious. Hioyan's open mouth is now almost big enough to fit an egg. Chapter 577. Big Fortune. This is not the most profitable one. It is said that Talking Tomcat is the most profitable one, and it also has the greatest prospects. In terms of virtual product sales, it is definitely ranked first. You can buy most of the characters of Sky Games and repeat their words, and you can also customize your own image. And there is also the somewhat weird voice system they developed based on this. It also has an instant chat sending function with a personalized image, unique pronunciation, and personalized usage. On another line, they have opened up their own customers. Experts also say that this may threaten AOL and MSN, or at least bite off a piece of meat from them. There is also some instant mood release with the nature of Twitter, which is also bringing it more and more users. Although the audience will not be too wide, there are many fans who like it. It has no problem surviving in front of several giants. It may become a new internet upstart in the future. Now many people have said that this can be independently established as a new company. It is no longer a simple game. The market value of the Sky Games company has now rapidly increased from the original $300 million to $800 million, and the virtual price has reached $1 billion. It's been less than a year, and the investment of more than $3 million has yielded $1 billion just because of the founders' few ideas. It's faster than robbing a bank. These are the comments above, and it can be seen that these people are also very envious. Zhou is already comparable to Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. He can be called a new generation of internet upstarts. Although the company's development potential is not as good as Facebook, which has a market value of more than $16 billion, no one will underestimate him. He also has a 5% stake in Facebook, and he also has a lot of shares in the recently popular Apple. Great big deal. Zhou, the youngest member, relied on her height and finally saw a lot of content. With Tiffany's translation, she could also know what was being said. Look, that angry bird. We'll talk about the rest when we have time. Sunny has not forgotten the most important thing, which is the root of their current entanglement. Well, I'll look for it. Tiffany was not busy and quickly checked on the notebook pump. Finally, they got the result they wanted in a brand strategy analysis, which reported the ambition of Sky Games and the confidence behind this ambition. The analysis showed that in the peripheral authorizations they have selected, it can be seen that they intend to develop and fashion. All the clothes, pants, hats and shoes printed with the image of angry birds are made by Sky Games themselves. They have not authorized those factories at all. Recently, they bought the clothing factory that originally helped them do OEM and formed a team of designers. This is already a prelude to building a brand. In addition, they have acquired clothing factories in Latin America and Europe, which has already put their ambitions on the surface. There is no news in Asia yet, but the boss of Sky Games, the most cheap human resource concentration area, seems to have made a good layout. It is reported that recently, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar have sent surveyors to the region. China, as a concentration of cheap labor in the past, is now becoming more and more expensive. Although India is cheap, it needs to comply with too many local conditions. Thailand's infrastructure is not good. I think other small countries are more suitable places. The Asian layout is already obvious. With the popularity of Angry Birds all over the world, this brand is inherently higher than many clothing brands and has more advantages in popularity. From signing a film production contract with Sky Games Disney to a multi-directional cultural development strategy, this will be a brand that will be sought after by many people when it is born. After seeing this analysis, several girls suddenly have more confidence in this brand. It seems that they can really make money, but they are reluctant to stop their idle career. That is a business that can be done for a lifetime, and they can have a good fortune and find a good husband in the future. After all, there are not many female stars who are happy after marriage. Most of them end in divorce. They have no other life skills, so they will only live a worse life in the future. Most of the female stars who know how to invest can live comfortably. Even if they are divorced, they can find their own happiness. AIZ. I'm so tangled. Yuna grabbed her hair in distress, and her body fell directly on the sofa, twisting her body. How should I choose? Annie, what choice are you going to make? Little Crystal looked at the sister lying on the sofa with a curious look on her face. Yuna acted immediately and said to the girl, nothing, I'll take a shower first. Then she ran to the bathroom and closed the door with a bang. What's wrong with this Annie? Little Crystal murmured, but a trace of cunning flashed in her eyes. Annie, what were you talking about just now? Who is this man? It sounds like he is very powerful. That is a brother of Sunny's family. Suayang reacted quickly and pushed Sunny out quickly. We saw that he seemed very powerful, so we checked some information on the internet. One was the sound made by Little Crystal, and the other was the sound made by Sunny, who was pushed out. Sunny gave Suayang a speechless look, while Little Crystal looked at Sunny with shock and envy. Great, Annie, great. With such a great opera, you will never have to worry about food and clothing in the future. Sunny waved her hand and said, my uncle is still the director, and I still have to work hard to train and make announcements. I still have to get up early in the morning and work overtime at night. I'm no different from you. Jessica didn't want her sister to ask any more questions. Why don't you go back? We all have to get ready and rest early because we have announcements tomorrow morning. I haven't been here for long, and you are sending me back. Little Crystal said, pretending to be aggrieved. Jessica Jung. Jessica looked at her and called out. She called her name directly, and you could tell that Jessica was getting serious. Okay, I can go back now. But can you please send me off? Jessica's forehead was bulging with veins. It's only a few steps, and you want me to send me off? I want to have some midnight snack. Can you treat me? Seeing the girl's coquettishness and the fact that several sisters were also winking at her, Jessica had no choice but to agree to her sister and send her off and buy her some food as long as she could leave early. Chapter 578. Method. The two sisters walked outside to the downstairs of the dormitory. Jessica took Crystal to the tteokbokki shop they often went to and bought some for her sister. After receiving the tteokbokki from the boss, she thanked him and passed it to her sister. Okay, take it and go back quickly. You've made your debut and you still want to spend my money. Really? You always spent my pocket money when you were a kid. I'm just asking for a little interest back. Besides, I'll make more money in the future, so it won't make any sense to spend your money. So I'd better spend as much as I can while I don't have much money. Crystal's reason was very strong. Jessica was speechless after hearing this. How much of your pocket money did you spend? You still keep talking about it. The clothes I bought for you in the past 2 years are much more than before. That's different. Money has inflation. Besides, I had to spend all my money to buy a toy before. Now I only need to spend a little money in my wallet to buy a doll. Can it feel the same? Little Crystal felt that what she said made sense, and she was a little proud. She said unconsciously, besides, you are about to become a rich woman. Do you still care about my little spending? You are such a stingy woman. Jessica frowned and suddenly felt a little panicked. Seeing this, sister said to her, do you know something? Little Crystal knew she had said the wrong thing as soon as she opened her mouth. She blurted out the things that those elder sisters didn't want her to know just now. I. Looking at Jessica's eyes, she stuttered a little when she spoke. Jessica's face turned cold, and her murderous eyes were directed at her sister, Jung Soo-yin. Tell me the truth. How much did you hear just now? Did you hear everything we talked about? I just heard that you were going to be a distributor, and that you were going to open a clothing store. Ian was also saying something about thinking it over. After all, debuting is not an easy thing. Little Crystal couldn't stand Jessica like this, and she told everything she knew at once. She also mentioned that she had just played a trick on Yuna, and she also told a little bit of her thoughts. You are going to be a rich woman in the future, and you are still arguing with me about this little money. You are really a conscienceless woman. The girl pouted and looked very dissatisfied with her sister Jung Soo-jung. AIZ. What do you know? You? Jessica patted her sister's head, looked around to make sure no one heard their conversation, and then said, I haven't thought about it yet. How can I make a decision so easily? I have been practicing in the company for 7 years, and finally made my debut. Now I have to give up. How is this possible? Then you don't want to be a rich woman? Little Crystal asked in a low voice. This? Jessica didn't know what to say. Their family was quite well off, and they were not short of money, but after seeing all kinds of things in the entertainment industry, she was a little confused about the future. Most of the artists and seniors who were once so glorious lived very ordinary lives, and a few lived very unsatisfactory lives. Those who can really make it in the entertainment industry are those who have successfully invested in the past. Or they can be hosts and other industries, and they can rely on their previous fame to make it for 2 years. If the program is not good, it is inevitable that it will be cut off. At that time, it will be really difficult to make it again. Who can know what will happen in the future? Jessica sighed. I've worked hard for so many years. There's really no reason to give up my career. And I don't want to give up my current career either. Just because you don't want to doesn't mean others don't want to. I think several sisters are already a little tempted. If they go, I think your group may be almost done. Little Crystal said worriedly. Yeah. Jessica also nodded worriedly. I'm thinking about this problem now, and I don't know what to do. AC. She waved her fist in annoyance, trying to get rid of her worries, but apart from being able to move her arms, no worries could be thrown away. Can't you continue the activities and open a store by the way? Anyway, didn't you say that Jay Chow said that if you don't understand something, you can find someone who knows to take care of it? Continue the activities and open a store? Jessica looked at her sister and said. Little Crystal nodded. Yes, you see, don't many predecessors have side jobs? When you don't want to continue the activities, just treat your side job as your main job. Isn't Kang Ho-dang doing a great job? I'm so envious of him for eating so much barbecue every day. Yes. Jessica patted her sister's shoulder excitedly. It hurts. Little Crystal looked at her sister unhappily. Jessica quickly touched her sister's shoulder and apologized. I'm sorry, you go back first. I have to go back and discuss this with my sisters. At this point, she looked at her sister seriously and advised, you must never tell anyone about this, okay? Don't worry. I know the severity of the matter. Little Crystal looked as if she needed to say more. But you have to remember my kindness in the future. Otherwise. Then she turned around and walked away coolly. This dead girl, Jessica muttered, with a happy smile on her face. But this girl really gave me a good idea, but will that man agree to this? She was originally going to quit the entertainment industry, but she didn't expect that she would continue to stay in the entertainment industry. Of course there is no problem. When the girls in the dormitory heard Jessica's idea, Yuna immediately reacted and said, you said it was Sunny? This, I really don't know. Sunny said a little uncertainly. What do you think of this matter? She couldn't think of it, so she went to ask Yuri. This girl also had contact with Zhou Jixi, and it seemed that she might understand his ideas. Yuri thought about it, picked up the water cup, and took a sip, then said to them, I think Oppa should agree. As long as we insist, he can't watch us suffer for the rest of our lives. This statement seems to be a little convincing. Yuna said. A little. The girls felt the same way at this time. But whether it works or not is one thing. Now we have another thing to do. We are all thanks to Sunny, Sunny, I love you so much. Sunny, Sunny, Sunny. Don't take the opportunity to touch my breasts. AC, pervert Yan. I'm still a girl. My breasts will turn black and purple. The youngest member Zuxan was the only one who didn't go up, and she nodded repeatedly and said, yes, yes, nice. Don't touch it. It will kill people. Chapter 579. Women are like wine. You have to taste them. In a karaoke room in a high-end club in Seoul, high-end atmosphere is its synonym. The lighting is a bit ambiguous, but they are all medium and long-distance spotlights. The already luxurious room is illuminated even higher. In a large private room, there are many women and men gathered inside. The enchanting women are wearing a small amount of clothes, but most of them are bright colors. Seductive faces, slightly curly long hair or simple and capable short hair. White and tender thighs, 2 pairs of big white rabbits with deep cleavage, and no mind to expose the hidden beauty, all make people's adrenaline burst. The men used to wear suits and leather, but now I don't know where the tie has been thrown. The open shirt has 2 seductive little hands wandering on it. The naughty little hands, under the owner's bad taste, occasionally tease the 2 little red beans, which also makes the man more excited. Zhou Jixi is sitting next to them, and there are also 2 girls, but this time he has changed his clothes. A more relaxed casual outfit, not as restrictive as the custom-made suit. Even with his current wealth, it would be a shame to waste that suit. The 2 girls around him are still college students. When they meet a sponsor, they will do paid dating and earn a lot of money. Twins always have a special feeling for men. Zhou Jixi had never tried it in his previous life, so he had to try it in this life. The unrestrained look has a different charm. He held the girls' waists with both hands and stroked their smooth skin. Compared with Western women, the skin of Oriental women does feel a little more tender. However, the skin of Gypsy women is also very tender, and the skin of Indian girls is a little strange. It feels wild and lacks a delicate taste. Shuang, do you really want to be a gentleman? Zhou Jixi, who was holding 2 little beauties, asked his brothers without giving up. Affirmed and confirmed. Li Shuang looked at the 2 friends' unrestrained appearance with hatred. I pushed myself to the edge. I sent her a text message when I just came here, and I even sent her photos. I was afraid that I could not resist your temptation. I guarantee that the shift change will go smoothly tonight. Zhou Jixi couldn't help but admire him. Awesome. This is awesome. But you are not as good as me. Go. Li Shuang threw a pillow over angrily, and Zhou Jixi reached out to stop him. I'm praising you. If you don't believe me, ask Brother Jun. Li Shuang glanced over there, looked at Zhou Jixi and said, you're still asking him? The 2 sisters are feeding grapes now. How can he have time? What? Feeding grapes? Brother Jun has this taste? Zhou Jixi looked back and saw that he was really feeding grapes, which was very different from the picture he imagined. It's so boring. He complained boredly. Zhou Jixi smiled and whispered a few words to the 2 girls. The girl shook her head, but nodded after a while. Zhou Jixi smiled and patted their little butts. Go back, I'm eating grapes. But you have to feed them well. At about 2 o'clock in the evening, everyone dispersed. Zhou Jixi hugged his 2 sisters. Under the protection of bodyguards, they returned to the hotel. He picked up the 2 girls as soon as he entered the door, and the 2 girls also laughed and made love with him. Let's go. Let's take a shower first. Brother, I want to eat washed grapes. Zhou Jixi said with a sly smile as he touched the big white rabbit. Well, wait a minute. 4 grapes. I'm afraid you can't eat them all. The older sister of the girls said with a joking tone. Then let's see who is better. Brother will feed you well today, so that the people below you will work hard to surpass me as a benchmark in the future. Zhou Jixi said, and he raised his hips and did Mike's dance moves. Okay, let's see it well. I'm so hot that I can't wait. The girl was very dedicated, grasped Zhou Jixi's excitement, and then added fuel to the fire. So, a naked man and 2 women in sexy lingerie were soon left in the bathroom. Zhou Jixi thought that it was quite interesting and sexy. The fight in the bathroom really made the 2 girls see how powerful Zhou Jixi was. The feeling of reaching the top was really great. The wine red skin and the afterglow of the climax made the girls feel a sense of relief. Zhao Jixi looked at the girls still soaking in the bathtub and lit a cigarette for himself. The rich and refreshing smell of the medicinal smoke was brewed in the lungs and then exhaled, adding a new smell to the smoke-filled bathroom. The girls looked at Zhao Jixi's cigarette with a little surprise, and their throats seemed to be a little addicted to cigarettes. "Can you give us one?" "No problem at all." Zhao Jixi nodded, then lit 2 more, took a puff in his mouth, and gave them to the 2 girls. "Xiu ya, go pour a glass of good red wine. This kind of cigarette tastes good with red wine." The girl in the bathtub had just enjoyed the smell of a cigarette and was savoring it. There was a very familiar smell in it, that is, the smell of ginseng. I thought it was some new type of thing, but I didn't expect it to be a kind of cigarette that replenishes ki and nourishes health. She looked at Zhao Jixi, nodded and stood up. "Okay." The picture of a beauty emerging from the bath is about a naked girl who stood up from the pool. The heat made her skin slightly red but attractive. She simply wrapped a bath towel around her head to prevent her wet hair from dripping all over the floor. She also simply wrapped her body in a circle, but covered the top, and the bottom was almost uncovered, which could arouse people's interest. The girl walked in holding the red wine poured into the decanter. There was a cup hanging on her left hand. Zhao Jixi took it, and the girl helped him pour some, and then poured some for herself and her sister. Zhao Jixi feels good about red wine. He had a petty bourgeois complex in his previous life, and he feels good to drink some red wine. Besides, this kind of wine is good for the body, and it still has some flavor, if you taste it carefully. A glass of red wine with the mellow aroma in the mouth produces a strange chemical substance, which makes the taste of red wine better, as if it is sublimated a lot. The 2 girls are the same, intoxicated. Zhao Jixi and his mother drank 3 glasses and almost finished a bottle of red wine. Asking this woman with the aroma of wine is his favorite thing. Tasting the bright red cherry lips carefully, the taste of the girl is still so clear and attractive. Chapter 580 Watch your step. The next afternoon, Zhao Jixi finally woke up from the gentle embrace of the 2 girls. He exercises every day, so he should take a break today. Besides, the amount of exercise last night was not light. He was holding the girl and exercising back and forth. He casually put on a long silk robe pajamas and didn't want to wear pants underneath, so he tied a knot with the belt around his waist and that was it. He carefully avoided the results of last night's battle under his feet. He used a lot of a box of Durex. He didn't see it clearly, and it was sticky and uncomfortable when he stepped on it. He looked at it with a little amusement, not knowing whether he was praising himself or something else. "Your vitality is still strong. It seems that it hasn't crystallized yet. It's better to die outside than to be poisoned after finally reaching the goal. Go with peace of mind. There are millions of you after you leave. Amitofu." Looking at the 2 identical girls who were still sleeping on the bed, Zhao Jixi was very satisfied with his ability and had a lot of fun last night. He asked the hotel service to send up some breakfasts. He said he didn't care about the pickles in it. When he was at home, he liked to eat a kind of pickled vegetable. The sour and sweet taste was suitable for the morning appetizer, although his appetite was always good. While eating breakfast, he reported to the sisters in Zhonghai. The Unicum video saw 2 people in the conference room, and there seemed to be many people sitting below. In the video, he was wearing a pajamas, holding a pair of chopsticks with a piece of beef on them. There was a wow in the conference room. Although some people wanted to laugh, they held it back. The meeting just now was very serious, but this casual scene did not make people feel serious at all. Zhao Jixi was holding a piece of beef, not knowing whether he should eat it or not. He said awkwardly, "Well, you are in a meeting. Hello, everyone." He waved his hand and said, "I wanted to talk to your president Zhou, but I didn't expect that she would be called in at such an inconvenience. Everyone, continue." The 3rd sister also had a black line on her face. "You got up really early. Mizi didn't tell you that there is a meeting waiting for you today." I got drunk yesterday. The smegta here in Korea are too enthusiastic. I'm sorry for delaying everyone. You can make decisions on the company's matters. If not, you can ask my representative. Niha is also fine. Anyway, it will be yours sooner or later. Let's not make so much trouble. I have a business meeting here later, and we will meet after breakfast. Let's do this for now. She was about to hang up, but a naked girl seemed to appear behind her. The sharp-eyed people saw it, but did not dare to say much, and the screen soon went black. The veins on the third sister's forehead were red. This is still breakfast. I'm almost ready for lunch. Damn it. The fourth sister kicked her with her foot, indicating that this was the meeting room. The third sister quickly reacted. I'm sorry, I lost my temper. The number one lackey, Mr. Teng, immediately said, no, no, the several misters are all passionate people. We are lucky to be under your leadership. Then he said to his colleagues, don't you agree? Yes, yes. We are really lucky and happy. Everyone said this, but in their hearts they were complaining that this guy is really good at flattering, and they really didn't see it at other times. Recently, the company is going to select a vice president to share the pressure of the general manager. Isn't this old guy eyeing that position? No, he must be eyeing that position. There were a few knocks on the door of the conference room. The third sister couldn't keep a gloomy face at this moment, so she relaxed her expression and said, come in. The person who came was her secretary, Mr. Zhou. Lunch has been delivered. Should we bring it directly into the conference room or leave it in your office? The third sister's face darkened when she heard this. The subordinates sitting in the conference room had been waiting for this lunch, but now they felt that there was no hope. Bring it in and eat. Everyone will have the energy to hold the meeting after eating. By the way, help me pour a glass of ice water. He clapped his hands and said, everyone eat first. This is a big order, and we must make a good business plan. I want your creativity, you know. Of course, in addition to creativity, it must be eye-catching and enviable. These local tyrants are spiritually empty, and what they want is the envy of others, but they don't want to give people the feeling of now-vorish. This point must be grasped well. Forget it, let's discuss it after eating. Fortunately, Zhou had a good sixth sense, and he turned off the video when there was movement behind him. The shot of that buttocks was probably only 1 second, so it was possible that everyone felt that they were dazzled. Hey, wake up, come and eat something. The girl looked a little strange. No, I'll take a shower first. I just got something. Oh. He smiled thoughtfully. Then go take a shower. The girl wiped herself with a tissue, a little depressed, and walked into the bathroom. She didn't care about the door, and took a shower directly. When she finished, Zhou had just finished eating. Looking back, the girl was standing on tiptoe to put on makeup in front of the mirror, but the raptuji revealed the beautiful scenery behind her. He didn't know why, but he felt that this scene was very familiar. It should be the screenshots of those love action movies he watched on the internet in his previous life. The nightgown was so wide that it actually set up a tent. He glanced at the other girl who had already woken up, and then looked at the electronic clock on the wall. It's still early. Finish it as soon as possible, and take a shower. It's probably about time. After thinking about it, he felt that he still had to do some post-meal exercise. Unbuttoning the silk nightgown, he lifted it up majestically, showing off his power to the fullest. Xiu yap, how about a shot? The girl nodded without thinking, and Zhou pounced on her. The piston movement made a sound of pa-pa. The girl who had just finished taking a shower was also a little uncomfortable for the two men. Thinking about the madness and pleasure of last night, she didn't care, and joined the battle. It was a great battle. The man was sweating like rain, and the woman's voice was 9 turns, high and low. Under the rain of bullets, the small umbrellas were scattered everywhere again, and thousands of them fell one after another, but unfortunately they were all trapped in the film. The three of them went to the bathroom to take a shower again, and then they all woke up. Waking up and exercising really helps to refresh. Zhou took out 4 envelopes, which he often used in the United States. Each person cost $2,000. He thought the two girls were worth the price. The girl is not like the American professional players, who can tell how much is inside the envelope by just weighing it. Of course, this is also because Zhou is their excellent customer, and they really don't need to doubt the credit of such customers. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 581 Junji Hyun. They excitedly took it out from an envelope and were stunned for a moment when they saw that it was not Korean won. However, they could still recognize US dollars, and even if they did not understand English, they could still understand the numbers. After checking that there was 1,000 US dollars inside, the two girls smiled like flowers and looked at Zhao Jixi several times. Zhao Jixi walked over and patted the girls' buttocks. "Well, this is what you deserve." The girls kissed Zhao Jixi. "We are so lucky to serve you," Zhao Jixi said jokingly. "I guess the people you serve below will make you feel desperate." Then he played Michael Jackson's Action again. "They don't have a big brother like me." The girl kissed Zhao Jixi again. "It doesn't matter, we are about to graduate, and we don't need to worry about tuition anymore. We have found a job now, so we don't need to do this to subsidize in the future. Yes, I plan to accept the pursuit of others, and I don't need to worry about anything anymore." Then he looked at his sister again. "She can also talk to that man well." Zhao Jixi was speechless, but everyone has their own life. What else can he say? "Okay, I wish you all the best in the future. There is still one day in the room. You can have a good rest here, or maybe have a party and celebrate it. I won't be back at night," Zhao Jixi said, and walked out with a box, leaving the two girls in the room to consider his proposal. The more they thought about it, the better it felt. After finding the hotel service to clean up, they called and decided to have a party here in the evening to celebrate their upcoming graduation. After going out, I saw his bodyguards and some people were still on guard. I smiled slightly. This feeling is really good. Notify them that we are ready to leave for Jeju Island. "Okay, boss," he said into the headset. Zhao Jixi took the elevator downstairs and called Li Shuang and Li Jun. The two had already gotten up and had finished lunch. They were waiting for him on time. Seeing that he was ready, they agreed to meet at the airport. A small business jet had been chartered there, and the Park brothers would go with them. In addition, Zhao Jixi's bodyguards were not small in number, so it was more convenient to charter a plane and there was no need to wait. Wearing casual clothes from the latest season of Paris brand in winter and wearing sunglasses, he immediately became a more handsome guy. The waiter helped to open the door of the hotel. When Zhao Jixi walked out, he saw that there were many boys and girls holding signs in the northeast corner. He muttered to himself that maybe she was waiting for a star, but he didn't expect that a few people actually came towards him. One of them was wearing sunglasses and a mask, and looked tall. She stood not far from him, but didn't dare to come up. Zhao Jixi looked at her with interest, but unfortunately he couldn't see what the girl looked like. "Junji Hyun, I love you, Sarah." Some men shouted at the hotel, as if they could attract her. Junji Hyun. Zhao Jixi had some impression of this woman in his heart. She seemed to be the woman in My Sassy Girl and a popular TV series later, My Love from the Star, who became popular in Asia. As for the girl in the movie, he just ignored it. She looked like a Korean. How could she be attractive as a woman? He was just staring blankly, and one of the people opposite him walked up. He said to him carefully, "Hello, sir, you are blocking us." Zhao Jixi looked at this effeminate man inexplicably. "The hotel entrance is so big, how can I block you?" The impatient tone seemed to scare the gay man, and he didn't dare to say anything more, but kept glancing at him. The few people over there seemed a little angry after hearing this, but they didn't dare to get angry. The woman wearing a mask, sunglasses and a baseball cap still looked indifferent. Zhao Jixi took a sharp look and found that she was wearing a pair of headphones. It was estimated that she didn't hear what was said. The look in the eyes of the few people looked a little weird. He looked back and saw that the bodyguards were lined up in a row with a lot of distance between them, directly blocking the possibility of everyone entering or leaving. The hotel waiter didn't dare to come over and say more. This person is someone that the boss wants to befriend. He saw yesterday's cocktail party clearly. How could he dare to say more? Besides, he was just waiting for the car. When the hotel car arrived, he would leave. It would not take more than 5 minutes at most. Zhao Jixi looked a little embarrassed and turned around to think about what to say. Junji Hyun was even more angry, but this was a public place. She had to maintain a good image, and with her acting skills, she was able to endure it. Moreover, she didn't dare to provoke this man, so the agent had to let the assistant go up and say a few words. She could only pretend that she didn't hear what he said through the headphones, but she kept scolding this man in her heart. Well, sorry, I didn't see the action of my men just now. Zhou Jixi still chose to apologize. He admitted his mistakes. When facing women, he was still a little selective in his gentlemanly character. It's okay. It's okay. You just didn't notice it. Now you see it. It's okay. The assistant was also overjoyed. He didn't expect that this man didn't notice it and was so easy to talk to. This hard job was solved. Jianji Hyan also looked at this man with a little surprise. She didn't expect that he was different from the arrogant man she imagined, and he was full of gentlemanly manners. The unexpected turn left a deep impression on her. Zhou Jixi immediately signaled the bodyguard to make a gap, and then he made a gentleman's gesture to invite him in. His eyes looked in Jianji Hyan's direction. The woman was slightly stunned and nodded and signaled to him. Then the staff walked in one by one, but when Jianji Hyan came, she wanted to stop and say thank you to Jianji Xi, and there was no need to apologize. He just didn't know the situation. Who knew that it happened to turn here? And Jianji Xi immediately instinctively reached out to help. Are you okay? He asked immediately after helping. Before the woman said anything, the assistant ran up to ask about her well-being. Jianji Hyan said a little impatiently, okay, I'm fine. She seemed to be afraid that Jianji Xi would not reply and turned back and said to him, I'm not talking about you. Jianji Xi nodded to show that he knew. Thank you for what you did just now. This is what I should do. Seeing a beautiful flower about to be hurt, how can I remain indifferent? Haha. Thank you for your compliment, Jianji Hyan said. As the two were talking, the hotel's car arrived. Zhou Jixi took a look and said, it's nice to meet you. I wanted to chat with you for a while, but unfortunately I have to leave for something. He said with a look of regret. Me too. Maybe we will meet again, if we are destined to. Chapter 582 Beach Ranch. Zhou Jixi seemed to think for a while. Forget it. I don't like this metaphysical thing. What I want is to seize the present. Then he took out a business card and handed it to Jianji Hyan. This is my card. I hope to invite you to have tea when I'm free, as an apology for this matter. Jianji Hyan took the card, took a serious look at it, and then put it away solemnly. This is respect for the person who issued the card. But with just this one look, her heart thumped a few times, and the names on it seemed to be able to glow. One is more dazzling than the other, and her heart is surging. I didn't expect to meet such a young talent here. Is this a luck? The man in front of him has an American style. If he likes someone, he will show a tendency to want to know more. Boldly began the first step of the pursuit. Should she agree? Or should she agree? The answer is of course self-evident. She took out her mobile phone and dialed the number on it. After a while, Zhou Jixi's mobile phone rang. Zhou Jixi smiled slightly, picked up the call and hung up. He stretched out his hand and said, nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Zhou Jixi, and my English name is also Jess. It means the one loved by God. I like this kind of blessing-like name very much. It is my lucky charm. Hello, I'm Jianji Hyan. The woman also stretched out her hand and shook hands with Zhou Jixi. Jianji Hyan. Zhou Jixi raised his eyebrows and signaled the people outside with his eyes. The woman also nodded and shrugged her shoulders in an American way, looking very helpless. God knows she has never done such an American gesture before, and she didn't know why she did it this time. Is there something instigating her subconsciously? Zhou Jixi nodded in agreement. It is indeed a bit annoying. Then he smiled and said, it is nice to meet you, Jianji Hyan, a woman of wisdom and virtue. Although Jianji Hyan was happy, she still said modestly, thank you. You can also call me Jianajan. Jonah? Or Jivani? Zhou Jixi asked some tentatively, and then seemed to have discovered something interesting. God's silver spear. This is really a very lethal name. No, it's Jonah. I'm a woman. Although Jianji Hyan's English is not very good, she knows some small problems with this name. Sorry, I just made a joke. It's nice to meet you, Jianji Hyan, and I look forward to our next meeting. Then he looked at his watch. I'm sorry, my time is really coming. $3.5 million. Jianji Hyan didn't see the watch. She just saw an arm with more than $3 million. The envy and jealousy in her heart turned into a sigh for this man. He is indeed a new generation of rich people in the United States. She smiled slightly, but Zhou Jixi couldn't see because of the mask. Then you'd better go quickly. We'll talk next time. Zhou Jixi said goodbye to the woman he just met, got in the car, and was very satisfied with his actions. When he left, he hugged the woman. Her breasts were really good. Age is really not a problem. My brother is not younger than hers, considering the age he lived in his previous life. He was still missing the smell of women. GNG Hyan over there also complained to her agent about her wasting time. And the man just now didn't look like someone who was easy to mess with. She even went up to chat with him for several sentences and finally exchanged contact information. GNG Hyan didn't pay much attention to the opinions of this new agent. Since she terminated her contract with the original agency, the new company she signed with has been centered on her. If she doesn't like it, she can just fire the agent. Okay, don't talk about this anymore. When you have time, read more finance, games, or American magazines like Tech Frontier, and you will get to know the man just now. The agent thought for a while, and felt a little strange. This cross-border business seems quite impressive. You just need to know that he is one of the largest individual shareholders of Apple. Although the others are also quite impressive, I think this one is shocking enough. Janji Hyan whispered to her agent while walking. This guy is quite sensible. Compared with Zheng who monitored her mobile phone, this guy is much cuter. Wow. The agent was shocked. It's really a big deal. When Jay Chou arrived at the airport, he saw that the 4 people were already there, accompanied by several assistants and the like. He greeted them from a distance, and they hugged and exchanged greetings. Then they didn't bother to be polite and went straight to the plane to talk. After entering the plane, several people took their seats separately, and the 5 of them sat relatively close. Jay Chou asked the stewardess for a glass of freshly squeezed drink, took a sip with a straw, and then said, "What are you doing so mysteriously?" Li Shuang chuckled and asked Li Jun to hand over a document. Zhou Jixi looked at the 2 people who pretended to be mysterious with amusement, and then opened the folder. There were pictures and texts inside, and the texts were accompanied by pictures. It was very careful and vivid. It can be seen that the person who made it was very careful and serious. This is a ranch connected to the sea, including the plains on the land and a few scattered small woods, 2 small lakes not far away, and 2 streams. It is worth mentioning that there is also a breeding farm that looks a bit old in the ranch. It was used to raise horses in the past. Later, after the owner changed, it was used to raise cattle. However, the economic crisis and the livestock crisis caused the owner of the ranch to go bankrupt again. After selling off a lot of industries, the losses have not been stopped, so he had to sell this ranch. Below the ranch is a deserted beach. The reef is on the first layer under the ranch. The place with white sand is actually not very large, about the size of 3 football fields. It is in the shape of a crescent, with high peaks on both sides. Only when the tide is low can you follow the position where the sea water recedes and walk under that side. Otherwise, you can only walk over it. It is also noted that, as long as you buy the ranch, you can also buy the land on both sides. Add a railing to indicate private territory. Do not approach without permission. This beach has truly become a private beach. It is just that you may need to clean up the reefs in the early stage. After some transformation, this beach will become beautiful. The sea area connected to the beach will also be in private territory. Even if you want to build a floating house on it, it will be your own business in the future. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.